Yeah, hi Diggers. How's that sounding? Does that sound good? Hello. Going right. Course 4. I think 3 sausage. They're not. Standing by.
Welcome, folks, to Nassau in the beautiful Bahamas. We've got a perfect day for sailing here for the Star Sailors League final, a new competition, incredible knockout series in the Nassau Yacht Club. I'm sitting here with the fantastic people from Virtual Eye and Chris, my vision mixer, next to me. Well done, Chris. First day nerves, no problem. And we also have one of the founders of the SSL sitting next to me, Michel Niklaus, spokesperson for the league. Michel, what a great moment for you, a great day.
Yeah, hello all. Yeah, great day for a lot of people, I mean, and for the sailor at first, but for us too. Thank you.
So we're almost 2 minutes before a start, so I think the race format very quickly, 3 races today on Wednesday, 3 races Thursday, 3 races Friday. So all 18 sailors are going to be, 18 boats are into that. And then come Saturday, this is when it gets interesting. There's a cut where 8 teams go, 10 remain, then 7 for race 2, and then there's a grand finale with just 4 boats. Now, we're going to go straight out to the race course to catch up with our on-the-water commentator. Let's fly out with Virtual Eye. We're on the eastern side of the island in Nassau, flying right down to the course. It's a straightforward windward leeward. 2 legs, and let's get down right to the start line. We're under a minute to go, and let's introduce our on-the-water commentator, Loué Habib. So, Loué, how's it looking out there?
Well, Diggers, there was a lot of high-fiving and bear hugs yesterday at the opening party, but there's just mutual respect out here today, and there's no smiles. These people have all got their race faces on. 36 top-class sailors, and they're lining up for the start now. The committee boat end looks like the favourite. There's a big bank of cloud over to the right hand of the course, and you'd have thought it'd be a conservative start for the first one, but these guys are absolutely rocking it towards the line, and it's going to be the most incredible start to the Star Sailors League. The right hand side, winning that, you'll be able to control the leeward boats and get into that pressure. It's about 10 knots of breeze. We've got 28 degrees of air temperature. The sea's beautiful and warm. And it's just a spectacular start. And Robert Scheidt and Bruno Prada look like they got the best of that. We'll see that they were near the middle of the line, but perhaps the right-hand side is going to come through first on the ship. But Robert Scheidt, Bruno Prada from Brazil into clear air. And also a very impressive start from Paul Kayard over on the left-hand side. Diggers, over to you.
Yeah, Loué, we're looking at Virtual Eye now. A fantastic, clean picture on Virtual Eye. And it's looking like, as you say, Robert Scheid and Bruno Prada got a beautifully clean start, speed on the line. And it looks to me they've got a bit of space around their boat. They're into some clear air. They've taken the early lead, just 1 meter at the moment. But I think above them they might have the US flag. They've got Rohard Ponceau from France, and then Kayard and Austin Sperry just above them. So all to play for. Early days. It's a cracking start. Tell us about a little bit more about the wind and the wave state, Loué.
Yeah, we've got probably about 10 knots of breeze. That's due to build during the day. And the sea state, we've got under a metre of swell. It's not much, but perhaps as the breeze picks up, we'll get more sea state. very interestingly is that Robert Scheidt, it looks like he's sailing very high. The Polish team immediately to leeward of them, that's Kuznecki and Ajinski, they look like they're sailing a little bit lower but a bit faster. But at the moment, I would say that the Brazilian team have certainly won this start, but we'll see how it goes on the beat.
Well, it's quite interesting, Michel, that Robert Scheid has come just from winning the Laser Worlds in Oman, and he hasn't spent much time in the star class for quite a while, but you've invited him over here. He's one of the Olympic legends with 2 gold medals, and you know, he's match fit, I would say, in sailing, but perhaps not necessarily in the star class.
Yeah, see, when he's do practice before, I mean, 3 days stars, 2 days laser. He do this during 15 years now. I mean, you see this legend. After 2 days backs on the star, they are in front of all. I mean, they are only legend.
Well, great to have Robert Scheid on the course, and of course he's a born competitor. Yeah, he's one of the legends in Olympic sailing. And we'll see how it gets on. I'd put some money on. Just to go back to the format of the race, we didn't talk about too much before the race start, but we have 3 days with 3 races each day where all 18 teams will be competing on there, and then they have to make the cut. They have to make the top 10 to get into the next phase of the competition. Then they have another race, and then they cull another 3 boats. And then they cull another 3 for the top 4 for the final on Saturday. Michel, you're telling me that the sailors have come up with this. Your great friend Xavier Rohart, who's competing out here with Pierre Ponceau, they've come up with this concept so that whoever wins that final race wins overall. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, when we were speaking last year about this concept, I mean the best sailor church something new for the sailing. I mean, a lot of people are thinking about new things, but this format, it's not only Xavier Roa, but a lot of sailors want to do something like this.
Okay, and I hope you don't mind, we've got to talk about the prize fund, because that's quite interesting. There's about $200,000 of prize fund, 40 going to the winner, 30, then 25, and so on down the rankings, right the way to 18th. Whoever's last gets at least their costs covered. And again, that's very unusual in sailing. It puts a lot of pressure on. I think these guys are really fired up for that. I think they're quite motivated for it as well. Another cool concept with the Star Sailors League.
I mean, these guys are working very hard to sail. I mean, if you are working in job, you don't have only gold medals, but you can earn money and live with this.
Okay, so the sailors bashing up wind. Louis, I'll give you a quick update on Virtual Eye as what's going on. So top boat, as far as we can see, is Negri and Lambertenghi from Italy. They're on the left-hand side of the course. They've got an 8-meter lead, looking like just over Mendelblatt and Farty. Mark Mendelblatt, the Americans, and Bruno Prada, Robert Scheid in 3rd, followed by the Polish team of Kuznierowicz and Zicki, and 5th, George Szabo and Moss from the States, and Paul Carrard bobbing around in 6th, 7th with the Marazzi brothers.
Digby, don't forget it now that Diego wins all the races this year. He was European champion. He was 2 times winner from these big races.
Good work. So heading upwind. So let's check back in with Louis. Louis, you out there? Can you hear us? What are you seeing?
Well, yeah, it's very interesting. What we're seeing out here, Digby, is a significant amount of cloud on the right-hand side of the course, and that is why 15 of the teams have gone over to that side. But against all the odds, the shift has actually come from the left. So the 3 boats that have come over to this side are getting lifted. And you mentioned those guys in the top three, and certainly Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi, at the moment, they look like they've chosen the right side of the course and are leading on the first tee. What can often happen is the wind can actually, first of all, shift to the left, and then you get the significant shift to the right. So there's certainly three yachts that have come over to that have stayed on the left-hand side, and they've certainly got a benefit at the moment. But, we're still only about halfway up this beat. This race will go on for an hour. So it's still all to play for, Digby, but I think probably early on in the beat have gone to the Italian team, Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi.
Okay, copy that. We can see that confirmed on Virtual Eye. Interesting that Scheid and Prada are playing up the middle. They're going up the middle of the course, covering their bases, a very kind of shrewd tactical option there, if you're not quite sure what's going on. Over on the right side, I think these guys are losing out quite a lot going up the course. We'll fly along. Kuznirovic, Zicki, over on the left, Diego Negri, Lambertini. And the boat speeds, we're looking at about 5 knots from Scheid and Prada, all around 4, 5, 5.2, big 5.5 we saw just furthest right. So a big separation from left to right across the fleet at the moment. This is probably the maximum separation we'll see. Maloney and Bjorn furthest right, taking a bit of a flyer, not doing them any good right now. Paul Kayard and Austin Sperry also taking that shrewd middle course, right behind Ham. PJ Postma, the Finn sailor who came 4th at the Olympics last year, just missed out on a medal. He was looking good for gold, wasn't he, PJ Postma, in that final Finn race, the classic one with Ben Ainsley battling away with the Dane.
Yeah, Diego is always in front. Diego, it seems like Olympic game for Diego. He was 2 or 3 times Olympic with a laser, and last year he lost the qualification for small places. But just before this, he was a European champion without any concurrence. He fight.
He's fighting well. So Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi. These guys have been sailing together for about a year. Italian, Diego, as you say, Michel, showing great form in the class. 42 from Genova in Italy. He was Olympian at the Sydney and Athens Olympics. So going quite well. George Szabo, the American, going up the left-hand side of the course. Approaching this top mark now. Check back in with Louis. Louis, how's it looking, mate?
Well, it looks like the left has definitely paid. I don't have the advantage of Virtual Eye, but I can assure you that we're at the top mark now, and the boats on the left-hand side of the course look significantly larger than the boats on the right-hand side of the course. So my eye is telling me that the left-hand side has definitely paid. And I wouldn't mind putting a couple of bob on Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi getting round this top mark first. I'll probably eat my words, but at the moment it looks like the left shift has actually held on for the whole of this first beat. But we will see. The interesting thing at this top mark is that you're going to get a ball of boats coming in, and it then gets down to boat handling and not just tactics. So there's going to be some very close encounters at this top mark, and significantly, we have got the Polish team that have tacked over onto the left-hand side that were in the middle, and at the moment, you can probably see it better than me, but they look like they're crossing certainly in front of the boats on the left-hand side. So perhaps it's going to be Kuznetsky and Jetski that take this.
Louis, that's Kuznirovic and Zicki. Kuznirovic and Zicki. So you're right. Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertini, they've got about 15 meters now on Mark Mendelbrat and Brian Fati. So I think you're right. I think they're going to come round first. Looking just ahead, 23 meters behind is Scheid and Prada, and then a 37 meter Kuznirovic Zicki.
And now begin the big battle on the mark, and the first mark.
So we'll see
if
them.
I can just tell you with my eyes here, I can see that it's going to be Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertini to this top mark, and they have done it by at least 3 or 4 boat lengths. So very impressive there from the Italian team.
Louis, we can see Scheid and Prada steaming in from the right-hand side. Talk us round the top, Mark.
Okay, well, a lot of activity on board where they're resetting the sails for the downwind. It's a reach to a spreader leg, so very fast. They're working the boat hard, and you know, at the moment, the Brazilian team are about 2 boats to the lead. There's a lot of shouting going on at the top mark, and there's certainly been an incident between Flavio Marazzi and Renato Marazzi, and also Javier Rohat and Pierre-Alexis Ponzot. So the French and the French team, they're probably coming the worst off, but it's an absolute bundle at this top mark. There's no daylight in between the top 10 boats.
Thanks, Louis. Good info. We could actually hear the shouts right through your telephone. We're just using mobile signals, and we could hear the noise coming over the mobile phone. So exciting stuff, super close, Michel. Yeah, this is what you're dreaming about, eh?
When you are on the water, you are fighting like this crazy guy. It's really dangerous when we are coming here. You mean sometimes you are in front of all the fleet, but it feels only 2 meters and you are the last one, and you see this big fight. And these guys are all the best here. It's really impressive to see how they can come. Marazzi, he do a great job. See, he was not on the good way, but he is now 6th. Huh? Perfect. Good job.
So, Michel, it's quite interesting to talk to you. You've invited some kind of superstar sailors here. We've got the top in the Star Sailors League, some of the top sailors. Plus, you've invited a bunch of rookies, some youngsters, and that was very important for you as well.
Yeah, but see the rookies, such kind of rookies like Maloney, they were already 3rd in World Championship in the laser, and I mean it's time now to battle with the best in the world in other classes too.
Okay, we're steaming downwind. Diego Negri, Sergio Lambertini holding on, holding on to that lead, nearly 50 meters over Scheid and Prada. Kayard is in the mix. Mark Mendelblack is in the mix. The Poles, Kuznirovic and Zicki are in the mix.
Someone has an entry list. No, maybe you haven't.
Just hearing Louis in the background there. So all going on. So as the boats steam downwind, we're going to play a little video clip. We jumped on with Robert Scheid a couple of days ago, talked to him about sailing the Star, the technicality, and how different it is from sailing his laser. Robert, we're downwind. Could you give us a little indication, a little masterclass in what are you doing back there?
Yes, basically in one hand I have the rudder, which is, I control the direction of the boat. Second most important, I have the main sheet, which controls the biggest sail in the boat. So that's a very important thing. I have to keep trimming it, and in the strong winds, I have to pump it to produce more speed. I also control In the light winds, I control the mast forward, so this is a big thing because it puts the mast forward and we generate more power on the sails for lighter breezes. And once the breeze starts to get stronger, then Bruno comes back and helps him with this. It gets pretty loaded up. I also got the Vang that controls the height of the boom. I got a Jib Cunningham, and I got the Ram that prevents the mast from twisting forward and breaking. So it's pretty important things here. I keep looking at the bow and seeing at the waves around me to try to steer the boat correctly in the waves. And I'm in constant communication with Bruno that gives me feedback on what the wind's doing, because he's standing up and having a much better view of the wind than I am. So we got to keep talking about the tactics and the pressure, and basically that's it. You know, it's there's a lot of things, but once you do it many times and once you train a lot, then it gets automatic, and you know, you can concentrate more on the speed of the boat.
And just compare this starboat to some of the other boats that you've sailed. I mean, the laser is as simple as you can get as a dinghy.
It is very simple, and it is very important, the balance of the boat in light winds, because there's not much you can do with the tuning. Whereas in the Star, there's a lot of adjustments that you have to be thinking about, and you have to be doing it at the optimal shape to produce more speed of the boat. So it's more a technical boat and requires a lot more refinement in tuning. Whereas in the laser, it's a boat that you have to just spend a lot of time in it and sail with it naturally.
And last question, just, you know, the quality of fleet in the Star tends to be pretty high. Why is that?
Well, in the Star you got the best sailors in the world, because, you know, there are people who had already a lot of experience in all the classes, and they want to sail against the best sailors. And it's a very technical boat. It's a boat that demands fitness, but also demands a lot of the tuning, a lot of the relation with the crew, the good communication with the crew. And it's a boat that, because it's a keel boat, you have to think a lot more with the maneuver. So if you make mistakes, they will cost you a lot more than in the smaller dinghies.
Well, good information from Robert Scheidt, and he would know, Michel, how to sail one of these boats. A gold medal in the Star class. It's great to have him with us. And as we look in virtual eye, we've got a bird's eye view coming down to the course. Still looking like the Italians, Negri and Lambertenghi. 16-meter lead over Robert Scheidt and Bruno Prada, with Kuznierovic and Zicki in third. So fantastic result for the Italians off the blocks. And you say, Michel, that they're on form.
Yeah, totally in form. I mean, they know that this year it was this final in December. I know that they do a lot of practice, but they were sailing sometimes with Robert Scheidt in Riva del Garda.
Okay. So a drag race down to the bottom mark. This is the Star at full chat, and it was interesting. I was talking to Luca, Robert Scheidt's coach, who's over here helping out with the event. I know you're not allowed coaches for the Star Sailors League, but Luca volunteered and wanted to help out, and we've been picking his brains. And quite interesting, Luca was saying that really there's not a massive difference in the actual speeds of these boats. You know, it's all about tactics. This is one of the classes where tactics comes in massively, the Star class, and this is why some of the sailors from the Finn can jump in and start to do extremely well. So this concept of the Star Sailors League is working very well in the Star as an invitational to invitate some of the characters like Ed Wright, a Finn sailor, and PJ Postma, another Finn sailor. So let's see how these guys get on during the competition.
I hope that they can do some progress, because it's needs perhaps some regatta to be in the race totally in. But see, if you have perhaps we are on the mark, I leave you, and after we can speak about this guy back.
Well, let's catch up with Louay Habib on the water, our on the water commentator. Louay, talk us through it.
Well, that was a very interesting downwind leg. Significantly, the Italian pairing, Negri and Lambertenghi, chose what is now the right-hand side of the course, opting to stay with the shift, whilst the Brazilian pair of Scheidt and Prada chose to play the current and go to the left-hand side of the course. They each rounded different marks at the gate, and there was nothing between them. So Robert Scheidt probably made up about a boat length and a half there, but he's right in the hunt. But he's now on the right-hand side of the course, and it still looks like the shift pays on the left. So it'd be interesting to see if he tacks early. The Polish team have also come right into the reckoning, as have the Danish team over on the right-hand side. The Italian team look a lonely figure out on the left. We'll see whether it pays. It certainly did on the first upwind leg.
Thanks, Louis. So the Italians pulling out just over 20 meters over the Brazilians, Scheidt and Prada. Kuznirovic and Zicki just a little bit behind them. So big split in the fleet. Half deciding to go up the right-hand side and half going up the left-hand side. Interesting that Robert Scheidt chose that gate to go up the right. He's tacked over, he's heading back, and 27-meter difference in it. Be kind of interesting to see how the brilliant Brazilians do on this next upwind leg. A little bit further back, let's talk about some of the other guys. We've got the Danes, Elvind Melleby and Mark Strube. So Melleby's ranked 6th on the Star Sailors League, represented Norway, the 2012 Olympics in the Star, coming 4th. 4th is such a harsh position, isn't it, at the Olympics, Michel? You know, you're just outside the medals. You know, you've spent 4 years working and you come 4th. So just outside the glory. But Melleby and Strube doing fantastically here in 4th place. Michel, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I see 70 boats now here, but they were 18. What's about the
Okay, just to explain, we're using trackers, GPS positions, sending their signals back over the mobile phone network, and looks like we've lost one. Michael Hesbeck. Michael Hesbeck.
Okay.
We've lost him. We'll get Louis to tell us where Hesbeck is on the course when he can talk to us. But that happens using this technology. I think we've got the leaders, though. I don't think Hesbeck was in the... Oh, he's back!
Okay,
fantastic.
back. Perfect.
All good, Michel. Don't panic.
Yeah, nice
he didn't
job.
disappear.
Nice job
Aliens
on the
didn't
water.
come
Nice
down
job
and
here.
take him away. No problem. So back to the racing. Negri and Lambertini tacked over onto port, heading for a confrontation with Bruno Prada, Robert Scheidt. They're going to cross easily. Let's talk to Louis. Louis, whereabouts are you, mate?
Well, at the moment, we are just motoring across the racecourse to go onto the left-hand side. I think an important point here, Digby, is that 10 of these yachts will make the Sailors League final. Winning a race is not important. Getting in that top 10 is. So the battle that will really be seen during the racing today will not necessarily be to win the race. It will be to get into that top 10. And there's a ball of boats that are, trying to get into single figures on the score sheet. And that's where the real battle is. But yeah, the Italians obviously got off to a fantastic start. But I saw that Robert Scheidt was less than a boat length behind them when they ran that bottom mark. So it'll be very interesting to see who gets that top mark first. Conditions look very similar. We haven't had a massive change. We've still got the breeze has gone a little to the left. The course hasn't been moved. So the left-hand side looks like it's going to pay again. Back to you, DP.
Yeah, it's totally right. We are fighting for the 10th, but I see some seconds before that, for the first time, our rookie Hornos was for the first time in the 10 bet. But I mean, we haven't to speak only about this 10 because all the guy can lose and all the guy can win, and at least they have to be in the 10 best.
Well, that is it. They have 9 races over 3 days to make that top 10 cut. And like any fleet racing championship, it's all about consistency. Consistency, good results, just getting into that top 5. That's kind of what they need, a first 5 result each race, and then just lay it out. You're absolutely right, Louis. Glory is not everything in these racing. Talking about some of those rookies there, Hornos, Thomas Hornos and Josh Revkin. They're in 12th at the moment. Thomas Hornos, 25 from Marblehead, Massachusetts, originally from Argentina. He won the Snipe Worlds in 2007, and he's been sailing stars since the age of 16. He's sailing with one of the youngest sailors here, just 23, Josh Revkin, and been crewing stars since 15, and he's just graduated from college. And these guys have been thrown together, and they're absolutely loving it and doing pretty well here. 11th place, Hornos and Revkin.
They are living in front of Marazzi now, and in front of Staniek. He was in the first 10 in the last Olympic Games. So we can see already some level.
Well, we spoke to Josh Revkin just before the regatta, and had a little chat about who he is and his hopes and dreams for this this thing. I think let's see if we can put it in picture, Chris. Josh Revkin, just 23 years old, from Connecticut, New Haven. Tell us, how long have you been sailing stars, Josh?
About 8 years, since I was 14 or 15 was when I first got in crewing up in Connecticut.
That's pretty young. What's been your best result so far?
I think the top junior crew and skipper at the Worlds in San Diego a few months ago.
Okay, so you're coming in on form, and you're sailing with Thomas Hornos. Tell us a little bit about Thomas. How long have you guys been sailing together?
Been sailing together for a year. We first started sailing together in Miami last winter, and have been doing a lot of regattas since then.
And how's the chemistry between you two? Is this a good team, do you think?
Yeah, we really enjoy sailing together. We complement each other well. He's a very technical sailor, and I enjoy getting really physical in the boat, so it's a good combination.
Okay, and you've both just recent graduates from universities in the United States. I understand you've just done a double major in physics and philosophy. That's phenomenal.
Yep.
And tell us, what college was that?
Williams College up in Massachusetts. And my specialty was kind of fluid dynamics, and then also the philosophy major.
That's quite a combo for sailing. It seems quite appropriate. Where may that take you in life?
I'm interested in going into engineering after this, but right now I actually work for a museum designing educational projects for kids, so it uses both skills very well.
That's fantastic. And then coming down here to Nassau on this invitation, you're one of the invites. It's quite good news for you because it's not far for you, and there is a minimum prize money. Tell us about it.
Yeah, last place still gets $1,000 up to 40 grand for first. So for young sailors, it's really great to know that we can cover our expenses of the regatta just by coming down here and going sailing.
Okay, and some of the names that are here that you're taking on. What are your thoughts on some of the top sailors here?
There's some really great guys here. Robert Scheidt just won the Laser Worlds about a week ago, and almost half the fleet's been to the Olympics before, so it's a really great group to sail with.
Good luck. Thank you very much, Josh. Good luck to you guys, and hope you do well. Cheers.
Thank you.
Well, Josh Revkin and Thomas Hornos doing extremely well, lying 11th at the moment, Michel.
Yeah.
And this is part of your dream, to get some of these younger sailors in and mix it up with the Olympic gods.
But it's not only my dream, because Scheid, Prada, and Xavier Roa said we need some young guys in, and they write me to said, okay, we do some regatta like this, but we need young guys. So rookies, but see, I can see Melleby now third with Struby. Struby does a lot for this final, and he was fighting with a lot of guys to speak about the young guy, and he write us to invite some rookies here.
Okay, Eivind Melleby, Mark Strube from Norway, Melleby from Norway, Mark Strube from USA, Milwaukee, lying in third at the moment, doing extremely well. Good work. You see Kayard and Sperry still sticking to the middle. The Marazzi brothers heading up to the right. Kuznirovic and Zicki steady. And then Xavier Rohard with his crewman Ponsor in fifth. My money actually is kind of on Xavier Rohard for this whole competition, Michel. He's ranked number 1 in the Star Sailors League. He's a legend in the sport. You know him well.
Yeah, Xavier sail for a long time now. I mean, he does 5 times Olympic Games. It's incredible, and he has a spirit to share his competence. And for us, it's really good to meet some guys in a fleet. It's really good.
Okay, approaching
perhaps just to speak about the newcomer here, Lober, Rambo, Maloney, Bjorn, Wright, Pedersen, and Postman Atucci. We see that the 4 Finn guys, the best of these 4 Finn guys, Postman Atucci, now they are 13. I hope that they can fight for the 10th place. And you see that they are 20 meter, not so far away as George Zabo. He was a world champion in star class.
So rounding the top, Mark, we'll come to Loué Habib, and another result for the Italians. Loué, talk us through it.
Well, I think there weren't that many changes in places on that beach, mainly because the port tack was very short and a very long starboard, so not really much chance of overtaking. But however, interestingly, the Italian pairing have opened up a 3-4 boat length lead on the Brazilians. But the downwind leg, we should see some more passing lanes open up. That's all to play for. But at the moment, these two have definitely got clean away. So we have the Negri and Scheid really significantly ahead. They've extended on the fleet. The Norwegian team are running them closer. Melenbu there, he's just rounded the mark there, but I'm very close up there. I can see Mr. Struve flexing his muscles on the downwind leg, and I think that's one thing to actually say. These guys aren't just pushing weights in the gym. They're highly technical, highly tactical sailors. We've got them all coming around now, and that's the top 3. We've got the Italians, followed by the Brazilians and the Norwegians, and the Poles are leading the peloton behind. And as I said, it'd be a real battle to stay in single figures to get in that top 10. Just one interesting thing, we were talking about Josh Rifkin earlier. The guy's 23 years of age, and he's majored in philosophy and physics. And I think that is the archetypal type of education for a Star Sailor crew.
Couldn't agree more, Loué. Bit of philosophy for when the wind goes down, physics. Josh was telling us he studied a lot in fluid dynamics, and I guess he's doing pretty well here. He's up to 9th, Michel.
Yeah. It's really incredible. And George Zabo, world champion, is 11 now. We see that not so far away, the 10th place, we have big fight now. Some seconds, the 9, 1:10 after, and the 15, 1:33. So 20 seconds, and the downwind, you can win some seconds.
Who's the German team there?
So all to play for. And as you say, there's about 7-8 boats, 30 seconds between them. And downwind, they're going to find some waves. And this is where Luca, Robert Scheid's coach, tells us where you can make the most gains. If you pick a nice wave, down you go. And we'll... So, Louis, still out there? Can you hear us? What can you see?
Yeah, basically, there's a big agreement between the fleet on which way to go here, but a couple of people have thrown the dice, particularly Johannes Folger, the German pairing, and they have decided to drive early at the top mark, and they've taken over on the left-hand side of the course. I think one thing to mention about Johannes Folger, that they won the Star Europeans in 2010 in a 132-boat fleet. So these guys are top sailors. They won the biggest ever Star regatta, and they've taken a bit of a flyer. But Robert Scheid seems to be catching up the Italian Negri, but still too far away to really do any significant damage. But I think that if I was the Negri at Scheid or Mellenbu, the Norwegian, I'd be very comfortable at the moment. So I'm going to get a look like a top 3 finish. Behind them, the battle rages on, and it's really difficult here to pick out who's even in 4th place, let alone 10th place. The significant thing I would say for the downwind leg is that Johannes Folger, the German team, they've thrown the dice and gone out on the left. Perhaps it's desperation. Perhaps they think they know something. But it'll be really interesting to see who can make this bottom mark first out of that peloton behind. But at the moment, Negri, Scheid, and Mellenbu are occupying the top 3 spots. Thanks to you, Digby.
Thank you very much, Louis. Just to remind everyone watching, they're heading down to the finish. They're going to be finishing on this leg. And let's talk about Johannes Polgar, sailing with Markus Koy, top German team. Polgar, he's 36. He's a big-time Tornado catamaran sailor. He did 2 Olympics in the Tornado, 2 times national champion in Germany. And he's been racing stars since 2009. He's raced in 4 Star Worlds. Best results were 8th in 2011, and he's had a 1st in the Kiel Olympic class regatta last year. Ranked 11th in the Star Sailors League, and doing pretty well, Michel.
Yeah, I was sailing with Markus Koy. Markus Koy, 2 meters 7 feet, no, a meter high. I mean, it's an incredible crew. He is physically, with this guy, you can win some great regatta. He helped a lot.
Good knowledge. Germany has a big star fleet. I think there are about 400 boats actively competing in Germany, second biggest to the USA. Stars dotted around the world, been Olympic class since 1936. And the design itself is just over 100 years old. It was designed in 1911. And still going strong. In fact, the design itself hasn't changed very much at all. The hull shape, the hull structure, they've just changed the materials. It used to be made out of wood, and then, they've gone to glass fiber. And but they're not using any carbon. They're not going exotic at all. So fairly standard boat, but quite tricky to sail, quite complex, a lot of tweaking, a lot of mast moving. And you need that very heavy crew, don't you? Over the side. Big guys, as you say, like Markus Koy.
I'm not certain that when you are sailing 5.8 knots, you need carbon on the boat. You need some good sailors to compare, and no carbon.
Okay, hammering down towards the finish line. Still the Italians, Negri, Lambertenghi over Robert Scheid, Bruno Prada, with the Dane, Melleby and Strube, followed by Kuznirovic and Zicki, and then Hespik and Olasen from Denmark in 5th. Mendelblack, Farty, the Americans, then Rohart, Bonsol, the French, and Paul Kayard and Austin Sperry. They're consistently, I think they'll be happy with that, with 8th. Zaba and Moss, 9th. Hornos and Revkin, our rookies, just moving up between 10th and 9th. Good result for them. And then your top Finn sailor in the fleet, JP Postma. You're really stoked about the Finn sailors here.
Yeah, but he's 11 now. The first race after 2-day practice on the Star.
Yeah.
You see this guy.
Yeah, I mean, first ever time in a Star at all. You know, this is pretty cool.
And he's in front of Polgar. Polgar was European champion 2010 or 11 with 134 boats in European class. Incredible. And we have to speak after the races with Staniek and Klein. They were 6. I mean, in the last Olympic game, Klein is perhaps one of the best of crew in the world. And we have perhaps to speak what's happened. They are 16. Perhaps they have to find the speed, I mean, or perhaps they had a small problem.
Yeah, I don't think they had a great start. We could see a front row start with the Brazilians flying off the line and Kayard picking the middle, and I think these guys just didn't have a very good start. Still, 9 races in our first 3 days. 3 races today, coming towards the finish line, and let's go back out onto the water to Louis Habib.
Yeah, you don't often see Italians high-fiving, but they deserved that one, and the delight in winning that race showed on both of their faces. We've got Robert Scheidt coming through the line now as well, and the Norwegian pair just holding off the Polish team. So, again, a great result there for Melembu. I think he's going to be absolutely delighted with that one. And the Polish team just behind. The interesting thing really is that it looks like the wind speed is about to start to increase. It certainly looks like more wind up the track, and that may well suit some of the other boats. But probably the best downwind leg on that one was from Rohart. He chose to break out from the pack, get into clear air, and coming through the line now, he looks like he's got about 5th, 6th or 7th, but I think that was a big pickup from the last upwind leg. We've got the rest of the peloton coming through now. There's a fair bit of shouting going on. I'm not sure if I can see. I think I can see some boats doing some penalty turns. It looks like the 2 American boats. They are doing penalty turns. We'll wait to see what that's all about. But something definitely went on there between the 2 American boats.
There was a huge bunch up, Louis, and we can see a little squad battling down towards that line. This is close stuff. As you say, the Americans doing a penalty or just jibing round. Kayard, they're the Frenchmen. Rohard Ponsol for 7th. Kayard and Sperry crossing the line 8th. Diaz and Von Schwartz. And then Ed Wright. Fantastic result for the Finn. Whoa, that's amazing. He must have had an awesome downwind leg. Ed Wright, the Finn sailor, one of the fittest man in sport. And followed by the Germans, Polgar and Kay. And then Postma, one of Ed Wright's contemporaries and rivals. Followed by the Marazzi brothers. And then our rookies, Hornos and Revkin. And then Staniek, and then Klein. And Zabo Moss. And 17th place, Maloney and Bjorn. Maloney, a young Kiwi.
I mean, and our French guy with Rambo. Rambo was 2-time world champion with Xavier Roa. But so they are learning now. I mean, it will come. It will come with Jonathan Laubert. I mean, they are last, but so.
Well, okay, folks, that's the first race. We don't have an overall results. You can see them on Virtual Eye. We're going to take a quick breather. It's going to be about 20 minutes before the next start. Quick reset of the course. We're going to take a tea break here in Nassau in the Bahamas, and we'll come back to you. And as soon as we hear from the race committee when the next start is going to be, we'll flash it on screen. But pretty cool start, Michel.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's the live from this level. Yeah. You see, sometimes you have 1 or 2 boats in front of you, but you know what is sailing and races with the sailing. If you are in front, it's sometimes you are more clever when you are you have a little more speed and you are in front of the fleet. But see in the middle, what is the battle? In 15 seconds, you have 10 boats now.
Well, that's great. Well, we might task Louay Habib to go and talk to Ed Wright and just find out. Ed, what were you doing well in that last leg? That was a phenomenal downwind leg.
The rule 42 is new in this star class now. I mean, the most Philic guy in the fleet is Ed Wright now. And he showed this now. Huh? Incredible. He takes 6 boats downwind.
Yeah, good result.
And not everybody.
Okay, so breather there, and we'll leave you with our beauty shot. And as soon as we hear any information from the committee boat, but expect about 20 minutes before the next start. for the next race, we hope, but we're going to have trouble following them. So Louis, Hespik and Olesen, bow number 8, you can give us a visual. So Louis, who came back?
Three hooters? General. Okay, that's a correction. It is a general recall. So they were unable to identify the boats that were over, and so race 2 will have to start again. So we'll see how we tune in, but most of the boats seem to have realised that and are turning back. So race 2 will have to restart.
Thanks, Louis. Good information. We incredibly, just over your mobile phone signal, we can hear some of the beeps. And I should explain to anyone watching this online, looking at the virtual eye, that there's always going to be a 5-second delay as the signals go through the mobile network via satellites and so on and so forth, through all the electronics and the data crunching. Just bear that in mind. So before the racing today, we caught up with one of the legends in the sport, Paul Kayard. And let's have a little chat with Paul and get his thoughts on this Star Sailors League. Paul Kayard, Austin Sperry, just first day of this incredible competition. Sun's shining, wind's blowing. How's it looking, Paul?
It's a beautiful day in Nassau.
Austin Sperry, just sailing with the legend Paul Kayard. Any vibes, any kind of butterflies?
You know, I'm just excited to get going. I've sailed with Paul a lot over the last decade or so, so it's kind of business as usual.
That's way too serious of an answer, dude.
It was?
We're going out and have some fun, yeah. That was way too serious. You sound like a professional sailor.
Yeah, just...
No, we're happy to be here. You know, we haven't sailed in a while on the Starboat, so, you know, a little humble pie might be on order. We've got to be ready for that, but, you know, we're going to try to be smart about it and get ourselves in the top 10 for Saturday, and then we'll see. One race at a time, kind of. We got to be a little smart, not being on the top of our game. So,
Paul, who do you think the danger men here, the danger teams are?
You know, I mean, everybody's really good. These are the top guys in the world. I mean, I think last night we figured out that 12 of the 16 teams that went to the Olympics last year are here. So they're all on the top of their game. You know, Robert Scheidt just won the Laser Worlds. He's obviously on the top of his game. So it's impossible to name who the most threatening person is. You know, it'll be a tough regatta.
And Austin, final question, what's the vibe between you? You've done a couple of days of training, you've come down here. How's it going?
I feel pretty good. You know, we're just going to take it one race at a time and not try to do anything too radical and stay in the game. So that's kind of our mantra for today and go till tomorrow.
Good luck, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right.
Robert Staniak, you're all geared up, ready to go. How are you feeling? Butterflies in the stomach?
No butterflies, but honestly, it could be always the last race against a very good guy, since the star class is not anymore Olympic. So, yeah, it's a special race for us.
And this competition, incredible format, kind of 3 days of almost round robins and then a brutal making the top 10 cuts. 8 teams are going to lose. What's your game plan?
I mean, you know, we have 3 qualifying days, and physically they're going to be quite tough. So it will come down to the last day when you're going to be a bit tired physically. So mentally, it's probably a tougher race format than before.
And how tough are you feeling?
I'm quite well. I'm quite optimistic to kick some asses out there.
Nice one. Good luck, mate. Cheers, Robert. Mateusz Kazmierewicz, a legend in the Finn, coming into this star class. How you doing, mate?
Very well, actually. We are very happy to go out sailing. It's going to be a beautiful day, the perfect conditions. We haven't been sailing since London Olympics, actually 1 day, 2 days ago, as a practice. So I'm really, it's going to be interesting, you know, if I will not forget how to tack or jibe.
Okay.
Right.
And we're just looking here right at the Star Keel boat, obviously. Interesting little rudder there. What's some cool? Look at the. Just tell us about the bottom of the boat very quickly.
Right. Actually, we rent this boat, so we just look how it looks, and it's a pretty good boat actually. This is our third crew. Weighs 400 kilos, and this helps, especially me, not to hike too much while sailing. But actually, I will hike today because there is 15 knots of breeze. The boat, the Star Class, was designed in more than 100 years ago, in 1911. It's unbelievable that this boat, actually, the shape didn't change much, only the materials it was made of. And it's a classic. It sails so nice through the water. It cuts the waves. You know, you can plane downwind. Actually, it's not hydrofoiling, but it still gives a lot of fun. So we will enjoy it today.
Thank you very much. Good luck, Matt. Cheers. Well, Matthias Kaznurovic there, polishing his hull. Michel, we have Michel Niklaus in the studio with us. We have Louay Habib out on the water, and not long to go for the next race. Michel, quite fun seeing Matt there polishing his hull. He was in good spirits.
Yeah, we are totally in now. After one race, perhaps warm up for some teams. You see that guys were perhaps 11 and 12 now. They need to be in the 10 best, and perhaps it's why we had this false start.
Yep, the pressure's on. A lot of boats trying for that start line. And soon the race officer has the option of black flagging, which is a disqualifying move. But let's go out to our on-the-water commentator, Louay Habib. Louay, you're out there. Is the wind increasing? We've got about a minute to go.
Yeah, the warning signal's just sounded for 1 minute to go. There is no black flag. Repeat, there is no black flag. So the race officer has decided not to get that one out of the locker yet. But the fleet it's like a pack of wolves out here. The left-hand side of the course is looking like it's going to pay again, but you don't want to be right on the pin because you're going to get pinned out on that tack back. Onto port, and then you've got no right. So the first quarter of the line is probably where you want to be on the left-hand side. Again, there is a right-on punch-up going on here. The Polish team are the closest to the pin with the French, and then the young Kiwi skipper Maloney. And interestingly, the Italian team Negri and the Brazilian team are on that quarter. And there goes the gun, and it's a blanket start. I would not like to say who won that one. The Polish team got spat out at the pin end, and they are definitely down the pan at the moment. But I really would not like to tell who won that start. Perhaps you can see on virtual eye.
Thanks, Louay. And we saw Matt Kaznurovic, who we'd just spoken to before the race, and yeah, he's having trouble. He's having to duck a lot of people. He missed the pin end. He's got it all work to do on this race. But as far as we can see, it's the Dane, Melleby sailing with Strube. They're out front, followed by the Americans, Szabo and Moss. And then our rookies, Hornos and Revkind, with the French.
We lose back the Danish because we have technical problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's in.
Yeah, he's going to be up there. Sorry about that for Hestbeek. We've got a tracker problem. We'll try and swap that out for the next race. It's all first day teething troubles, but there you go. We'll see 17. But we'll ask Louay Habib to give us an update and tell us how Michael Hestbeek and Klaus Olsson, bow number 8, sail number 8455. Louay, just letting you know that we can't see them on virtual eye.
Well, Digby, I can't see them either because there's just a wall of sail in the middle of the pack here. Interestingly, Rohart has stayed out the left and he's in clear air at the moment, but He is definitely falling into the wake of the German team here. Diegri's got another cracking start, and at the moment he's climbing all over Robert Scheich, and that's very significant. But I can't see the Danish team with my eyeballs, Digby. It's backblazed in the middle here. I really wouldn't like to call this at the moment. It's a fantastic competition.
Well, another cracking start, big bunch up, a whole crowd going left. It's nice to see the rookies, Hornos and Revkin. They're doing a stellar performance just above the Germans, Standjek and Clean, with Negri and Lambertengi, followed by another German team, Polgar and Coy. And then we can see through virtual eye that the French Rohart and Ponson just ahead of Robert Scheid, Bruno Prada in 6th. Very early days, big bunch going left up the course. Robert Scheid just ducking behind Standjek and Clean, and those two young sailors, Hornos and Revkin. I mean, they really are youngsters, 25, 23. Michel, good to see them doing. They had a good race last race, didn't they? They're going for that top 10 cut and in the glory as we speak.
Yeah, and Diego is still back in the first place. Great day, great start for Diego.
Yeah, it's an Italian day on race day number 1, race 2 of the Star Sailors League. Now, I ought to mention just very early that you can actually play this game online at virtualregatta.com. If you go into virtualregatta.com, sign up. We've got 200 players playing a virtual version of this game. We're looking at the real stats from the race course using Virtual Eye. And still, Diego Negri, Sergio Lambertengi heading up this first beat. It's another windward-leeward course, and 4 laps straight forward. Should be about a 45-minute race. All the sailors here are completely fired up. They all want to make that top 10 cut. A whole mix of wild cards and rookies, youngsters, with some of the top-placed sailors on the Star Sailors League. And top of that lead is Xavier Rohard, was sailing with his crew Ponceau. They're placed 4th at the moment, and Xavier Rohard was one of the instigators of the Star Sailors League, Michel. And you know, you were listening very hard with these guys, all the sailors. They came up with this format. Can you talk a little bit about you know, the concept and the vision there in the whole race format?
The vision for these sailors, because the sailors are they give the spirit of this format. They need now to, after 35 years sailing in the sailing world, sometimes they need to impress. They give new idea, and they give new idea to create something. And this format is coming from Xavier Hora, Diego Negri. You see Clean Fritjof, Clean Chu, and here Marcus Coy, and all these 5 guys, they are now in front of this race. They give a lot of idea to build this format.
Well, it's great to hear of a new format. It's quite visionary in sailing. I think what's going on here, the ripples are going to be felt around the sailing world. It's quite unusual. And Michel, your vision for the league itself, I mean, next year, what do you see happening?
For us, we have already spoken a lot with the sailors about this. But for us, it's the promotion from the athletes. We have to give money, not sailing. We need some money to sail. It's really. But this money we have to bring back to the sailors. And the goal of the Star Sailors League is to give back this money to the sailor. Promote athletes with races. And in the goal, and I mean, next year we have to welcome much more people in the ranking. Now we have 1,000 skipper in the ranking, 1,400 crews in the ranking. After almost 1 year, and the goal is to grow up with this move.
Thank you, Michel. And incredible battle going on at the front of the fleet here. It's really neck and neck at the front. The Germans, Staniek and Klein, Hornos, Rifkin, Kayard and Perry. Just a few seconds between these guys, and they're really going for it, Michel.
23 meter, not 30 meter between the first and the 10.
Under 30 meters between the top 10, top 12 now. That's phenomenal. So as close as it can get. And talking to Robert Scheid's coach, Luca, just before, he said really upwind there is very little speed difference in the start. Maybe 4, between a bottom mark and a top mark, maybe 4 boat lengths in pure speed difference between these boats. He knows, he's been analyzing this stuff for years, and you can see that right here in Virtual Eye. So the Italians in third, having a great day with Hornos and Revkin, and the Germans, Staniek and Klein, heading out first, having a...
We speak before about Staniek.
Yeah.
He learned very well, very speedily that, but he must win now.
Yeah.
He was under the 10 before.
Okay, so just a quick one with Loué. Loué, just what can you see out there?
Well, Digby, we're about halfway up this beat, the first beat in race 2, and as you say, there's absolutely nothing in it. I couldn't possibly tell you from what I'm looking at who's actually winning this. The top mark here is going to be an absolute punch-up, that's for sure. I think the first race where we had that big lefty, the left-hand side paid, and certainly the Egri got away, and certainly a couple of the other boats did. But this time, I'm pretty sure we're going to see 10, maybe more boats arriving at that top mark all at the same time, and I'm definitely expecting some fireworks. The course is very square, got a very, very square beat, and as you say from Virtual Eye, there is absolutely nothing in it at the moment.
Okay, great race. Now, Michel tells us this is all about the sailors. We're promoting the sailors here. Earlier, we spoke to the German Hellman Johannes Polgar, big-time tornado catamaran sailor, twice national champion, came 8th at the Beijing Olympics in 2008, and he's been racing stars since 2009. Let's have a little chat. We'll keep the Virtual Eye going and put Johannes Polgar in a little box and see what he has to say.
My name is Johannes Polgar. I'm from the German Star team, and I sail with Marcus Coy, who's my crew since 2010. I think sailing is a very versatile sport, and first of all, you have to put a campaign in place which is capable of winning medals, and this takes a lot of different views and a lot of different things. Maybe I can tell you some. So. First of all, I think during this, let's call it a 4-year period towards the Olympic Games, which is always the most important goal for our sailors, you have to check out all your surroundings. Everything has to be in place to be able to perform in the end, and that is especially a thing on your individual side. So you have to be sure that you've got the passion, that you've got the private surrounding to make it all happen, and then you have to put together a very, very good team, starting with your crew, who has to be absolutely specialized and focused on all this, and your coaches and your sailmakers, everyone that is involved. And in the end, if you've done all this right, you should be able in the end just to focus on the performance, which is the most important of all. If I look at the fleet here, to me there's one outstanding guy, and that is Robert Scheid at the moment, because he's so much into all this racing, and just winning the Laser Worlds should give him maybe an extra boost. But I think the rest of the fleet should be really, really even, and I really can't point out anyone where I should say, okay, those are the next ones on the podium, maybe. But I think the ones that will win here are the ones that are able to, in this really short period that we're here, put all the components together and make it a mosaic that works out very, very good. And in the end, maybe are in the best mood, maybe get some of this this Bahamian feeling you know, relax, but be really focused and fight for the last meters, because I'm sure we will see it on the race trackers. Every meter will count because it's so close. We saw it in training today. You know, the boats are so equal speed and they are so sensitive in these wonderful conditions, and who's able to pull out just a little touch more will win. For us, we haven't quite been sailing a lot this year, so we'll just try to remember all our strength and just fight really hard and enjoy this regatta and see what we're coming out.
Well, great stuff there from Johannes Polgar. Michel, talk about close. Look at this, heading up towards the top mark. It's an incredible battle going on at the top. I may just ask Louis Habib out there, because we don't have a tracker on Hesbeck, or do we? Is it started working again?
Yeah, it's coming back. It's
coming
back in.
Excellent.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
We will change this battery tomorrow.
Yeah,
but,
no problem.
To say, 16 now, Scheid and Prada. And we know that at least he can win. We will see now what's happened. It's really interesting to see what's can happen now.
It must be quite a lot of pressure in a way if you're Robert Scheid with all those gold medals and silvers and a bronze, and you come to a regatta, and you know he is the big man, he is the legend, he's one of the best small boat sailors we've ever seen, and you know there's like a target on his back for some of these guys.
We were speaking 10 seconds before he was 16. He's already 12. But when you can sail sometimes in this fleet, you seem sometimes to feel that it's time now. I can catch this guy, but at least you are not in front. But so we will see what's happened. How can they win? And we will see what's happened.
Okay, approaching the top mark. Just a quick update on the lead. Staniek and Clean just 3 meters over Mendel, Black and Fati. Niegri, Lambertenghi in third place, followed by Rohard. Quick lead change. It's changing every second, even as we go through the leaderboard.
And now when you will learn something in the sailing race, it's now the time to learn something. You have to see these 10, 12, 20 times to learn what's happened with these boats.
Okay, a big bunch up on the right hand, the starboard ley line, as the boats line up to round the mark, the first mark in this windward leeward course. This is race 2 of the grand finale of the first ever Star Sailors League. Big prize money at stake. 3 races today, 3 races tomorrow, 3 races on Thursday, Friday, and then the final on Saturday. Louis, over to you for the mark rounding.
It's Vive la France, Rohart there, coming in on starboard with right. Got a couple of boats to tack, and he has propelled himself into top spot. A significant top mark there, coming in on starboard with right. Behind him, Staniak, the German, he got tipped to that top mark just by Rohart, taking a different line. And then the American pair behind that, I do believe we have the rookies in the top 3. A fantastic top mark rounding. Not too much shouting. They're all behaving themselves at the moment. But that's your top 3. You can see that. There is a significant number of boats rounding the top mark at the moment. Plenty of shouting going on. And the interesting thing is that the Swiss team have had a massive fallout there. They are most definitely in last place. Robert Scheid getting absolutely shoved around by Ed Wright. There was no love lost there between the two of them. And they're heading for that spread of leg. The 3 boats that got into clear air have definitely got a bit of separation. But apart from that, it's all on. Back to you, Diggers.
Thanks, Louis. Good stuff. Good drama. It sounds exciting out there. And we can see that Robert Scheid and Bruno Prada, they've got a lot of work to do, but they're downwind. He's a tenacious sailor. We'll see how he gets on. See, he's 15th, lying 15th at the moment. He's got Ed Wright in his sights, and I'm sure Scheid will be gunning for Ed and trying to overtake him. Let's go up the leaderboard. Polgar and Coy, 13th. Paul Kayard, Austin Sperry up in 12th. the Danes, Melleby with Strub, and then Kuznierovic and Zicki in 10th, Diaz. Augie Diaz, quite consistent, nice racing from the old-timer, 59, eh?
Incredible. You're in the same race. Some guys, they have 27, 59 years old. It's incredible.
I think the age spread is great, and that's one of the great things about sailing. You can just carry on going. It's
Absolutely.
Superb.
Absolutely.
Then luckily we've got Diaz and von Schwartz in 9, Hesbeck and Olesen 8, Zabo and Zabo, sorry. Then our rookies, Hornos and Revkin in 6, the Frenchman, Laubert, Rambo in 5th, Niegri, Lambertenghi, Stella Day for the Italians, and then Staniek and Clean in 3rd, Mendelblack, Farty taking it away near the front, just behind the Frenchman, Rohard and Ponceau. So I kind of said earlier in the first race, I'm going to put a bit of a beer on this one. I think at least for the top 4, Rohan and Ponceau, I think they're going to get through these first 3 days in stellar style.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see Rohan Ponceau number 1, because they are now number 1 in the SSL ranking, and after 230 races this year, they are number 1. So it makes sense that they are first in this race.
Fair enough. Michel, talk about a little bit about the ranking. How does the ranking work? How many events are we looking at? Just describe a little bit how that works.
Okay, the ranking takes all the races during the year, and we have 230 races in the star class. We chose this support to build the race, the ranking, and all the skipper and all the crew become points after one regatta, one official regatta. And last year we had, this year, 2013, we had almost 230 regatta.
And how many sailors roughly have signed up to your Star Sailors League? It's over 1,000. Combien des marins ils sont dans la ligue maintenant?
Okay, now we had, thank you for your French. I must learn a little bit English, but thank you for your French. Perhaps after we can speak a little bit French for our friend, they are speaking French. So, but about 1,000 skipper now, and about 1,400 crews in the ranking. It's incredible for us. After 1 year without too many promotion, we had already more as 2,000 sailors.
That's a big number. Good work. Fantastic. Thank you, Michel. So back to the racing, and Rohan Ponceau taking a great lead, and still out front. Battle for 2nd and 3rd with Negri and Lambertenghi, Mendelblatt and Farty, Staniek and Clean, Loboa and Rambo, another French crew. So they're hammering downwind. We might go out to Loué Habib on the water. We can see some pretty big speeds, up to 6 knots, down to 5. Quite a big spread right across the fleet. A lot of differential in speeds here. I'm guessing there's some pretty good wind and waves out there, Loué. Talk us through it.
Well, I might be teaching Grandma to suck eggs here, but there's not a sign of a blazer or a gin and tonic at the moment. The 2 crew are working incredibly hard at pumping these boats downwind. You have the helmsman operating the main sheet and the tiller at the same time, while the crew is literally hauling the main sheet in by the rig like a rower. I mean, anybody who says, this is a game for lily-livered gin and tonic drinkers should be looking at this right now. The French team, Rohart is certainly in the lead, but he is being pushed very hard by Niegri, and also just to see the physicality of what we're doing. In fact, at the end of the last race, Javier Rohart came up to the boat we're in right now, gasping for water. In fact, an awful lot of the boats were around us like bees around a honeypot. It's a proper workout out here, diggers.
Well, you are the mothership, Loué, with all the water and all the goodies on board. And I guess it's pretty hot out there. I mean, we're indoors here, but how hot is it?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really feel the air temperature because you've got about 12 knots of breeze, but I can certainly feel my forehead smarting. And yeah, it's 28 degrees, Digby. The water temperature's 24 degrees. It's bright blue. There's wind. There's waves, and there is just tropical sunshine. As far as I'm concerned, the Star Sailors League, well, Christmas has come early in the Bahamas.
Good description, Louis. Thank you very much. Well, it is champagne sailing conditions here in Nassau in the Bahamas. The sailors are absolutely loving it. We're in for some cracking racing in 4 days of racing for the Star Sailors League final, hammering down to the second gate. They're doing 2 laps. They'll go up the course and down the course to finish. All straight, dead downwind. Big battle going on at the front of this race with the Italians Negri and Labatenghi taking on Rohart and Ponceau. And let's catch up with Scheid and Prada. They were down in 15th, 16th, and it looks like they're climbing, using those waves, coming up to 13th. And some of our rookies are doing quite well. Hornos and Revkin slipped back down to 10th, but they're still in the top 10. That's everything to play for. And here we are, Ed Wright, the Finn sailor, first time ever in a Star, and he's around the 10, 11, 12, doing well in the middle of that pack, Michel.
And Augie Diaz, Augie, always 8 now, Augie, 7 now.
Well, consistent from the American sailor, Augie Diaz.
And now come Scheid for the first time in the race in the 10 best.
There you go. He's climbing. He's using that wave. He's an incredible competitor out on the water. Very very gentlemanly out here in the club. Talking to him, he's very patient and everything. But you get him out on a racetrack, and he's a weapon, an absolute weapon. I wonder, Louis, we're talking about Robert Scheid and Bruno. Wonder if you can tell us what you can see of these guys.
Okay, well, yeah, Robert Scheid and Bruno Prada got absolutely nailed at that top mark by Ed Wright and Peter Pedersen. And they have, as you say, come right through the rankings on the right-hand side of the course. Interestingly, Ed Wright, after he gave you a right old spanking, immediately jived off into clear air on the left-hand side of the course. And I think it's worth mentioning that although Ed Wright's never sailed a Star before, I can absolutely assure you that Peter Pedersen has. He's ranked 5th in the Star Sailors League, and he was 4th in the London Olympics with Mellenberg. So, I mean, he is a phenomenal star sailor. And we're just coming down to the bottom mark here. And, I mean, obviously, you've got a clearer picture, but I'll tell you what, Diggers, I would not like to call this one. This is going to be a literally, I really couldn't like to tell you. We've got a call of boats, about 5 or 6 boats that look like they're heading to the left-hand side of the gate, and the majority are moving to the right-hand side. But the German team have come right back into it, and I would say they may well have at least caught the French team, but Negri certainly has. Negri is rounding the top mark ahead of Rohart, so a very good downwind leg for the Italians. And the German team are probably looking at third over the other side of the course, but a fantastic downwind leg. It really is a spectacle out here, Diggers.
Well, huge compression as the fleet come round to that bottom gate. They're all piling in, and there's virtually no time or distance between the first to the last, so it's all to play for. Big gains by the Italians, Negri over Rohart and Ponceau, and it's looking good for the 2 French teams with Lobert and Rambert staying in 5th. Mendelblatt, Farty in 4th, Staniek and Klein consistent, and just 30 seconds between the top 8. Pretty good going, Louis.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. The fleet is almost split down the middle. There's slightly more boats on the left-hand side, but looking with my eye, I definitely can see more wind on the right. So I reckon you're going to see some big changes in that leaderboard. No incidents at the bottom mark. Everybody's round there. No penalties, no flags. But it's going to be a very interesting beat because, again, this is a square beat. So there's a lot of possibilities for place changes here. The very interesting one is Ed Wright has also done something different this leg. He's put in an early tack at the bottom mark. and he's now heading over to the left-hand side of the course, or is he going to go up the middle? We'll soon find out.
Looks to us like Ed Wright headed out to the right, now he's tacked over, heading towards the middle. We can see Scheid and Prada going up the left-hand side. They're following the track of Rohard and Ponceau, and the top guys are all going left. The leaders over on the right, Staniek and Klein, Diaz and von Schwartz, Honos and Revkin heading up the right-hand ley line, and Kayard playing it cunning, playing up the middle. So big split, and 22-meter gain line for the Italians over the Germans, but it's all going on the left-hand side of the course, Louis.
Again, the right-hand side, it looks fantastic with the cloud, but it is not. The left-hand side is definitely playing again. It's, again, very difficult to tell you who's winning this one, but the French team, they've gone up the middle, and so has Posma, the Dutchman, who's on a good mark rounding. Great to see the young Kiwi Maloney right up there, getting it in the mix as well. He's a very promising laser sailor, hoping to represent New Zealand at the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro in 2016. And he's just 23 years of age, but his crewman, the Canadian, has been sailing stars as long as the young man's been alive. So that's a lovely combination, and we can see a bit of that. Tyler Bjorn, the Canadian, has been racing stars for over 20 years. And his helmsman is only that old. And it's lovely to see that sort of pairing going on the Star Sailors world.
Thanks, Louis. Some clever thinking in these pairings, Michel. So with your rookies and wildcards, you know, if you take somebody out of a Finn class who've never stepped on a star before, the concept of putting them with somebody with great experience is absolutely superb. And we can see, Ed Wright lying in 10th place with Pedersen.
Yeah,
That's
and Lauber 5th.
Lauber 5th with Rambeau.
It's only incredible. He has after him some guys like Kuzniarevich, Olympic gold medalist and world champion. So no, Jonathan was bronze medalist in last Olympic Games. It's mean that we have right to open to the best sailor from the Olympic classes. Best sailor of the Olympic classes are the best sailor for sure. And when we mixed all these guys together, it's do this crazy regatta.
Well, it's a good concept, and I think the crews actually quite enjoy coming and having some of these hotshot helmsmen come in from other classes, the laser, the Finn, and I'm sure in the future you'll bring some 49er sailors and all kinds of sailors, and we'll see how that goes. There's a lot of hiking going on on these star boats, and we spoke to one of the best crews here, Bruno Prada, Robert Scheid's crew, and we've tried to get a little bit of an insight into what goes into hiking these boats, and I wonder if again we can play that, Chris. Talk to us about the crewing upwind on these boats, Bruno. It looks hard work.
Yeah, in the medium light winds, that's what we have now. I sit here, I go much forward, I go like this, and I have a lot of pressure in my legs. It's a very hard physical job, and I help Robert to keep the balance, also keep the balance of the boat. I have to take care of the jib, that always when the wind is changing, I have to adjust, all the time adjusting. And when we have a little bit more wind, I go down. I go in the hiking hard to help also the balance of the boat to keep the boat flat in the water. Also, when I go down, I use the harness. Harness is a piece of the cloth that help me. I have lines here to hold me in the board. I have cleats that we put the lines, and we can adjust. We have 3 cleats around the boat that help us to go forward, on backward. Depends the waves and how the balance the boat is.
So, Bruno, show us your hiking, that outboard hiking position, would you?
Let's try. It's not very comfortable.
So you are right outside the boat here.
Yeah.
You have a little harness in the front, just to kind of to help. And how long can you stay in that position, Bruno?
Yeah, I can. We can stay for hours. I can stay for hours in this position. I have the harness that help me to keep in this position, and but it's very uncomfortable, especially because we cannot see very well the puffs and the race. We just stay down here, moving the body, trying to help also the balance of the boat.
And why are you in this position on this star boat? What is the reason?
Yeah, because in the upwind we try to put the weight as lower as possible to work like a mute keel. We are like a human keel, so just outside of the water, and we have been testing a lot. Sometimes it's good to hike straight legs like this. Sometimes not. Depends how is the sea, the kind of waves.
Wow, Michel, that really brings it home how hard these crews have to work on the Star going upwind particularly. We've done a few more technical features, downwind and so on. We'll bring those on a bit later. But Michel, it's quite a cool piece, huh?
But yeah, about screws now. If you haven't top crew, you can't win any regatta like this. So, and the crew spoke a lot about the Star Sailors Leagues, and they spoke about prize to give to the crew, because for the first time we will give awards for the crew. I mean, when you are 10 or 12 on one big boat, it's not the same work for the crew. But here, one skipper, one crew, it's clearly a team. Without good crew, you can't win.
Well, talking about prizes, there are some big prizes. You've got some new trophies, and you were talking about a crew trophy, which you've honoured Andrew Bart Simpson with, calling it that, which is rather nice. And we'll see who gains that at the end of the week. So, back to the racing as the boats approach the top mark. It's getting to the business end. Scheid, incredible result, climbing from 16th back up to 7th. He's firing away. Must be all that weight over the side there. Bruno Prada proving his weight, worth his weight in gold. The Italians having a great battle at the front with the French, Rohard and Ponsol, just 2 meters in it. And Italians going towards the starboard ley line at the top mark, and the French on the left-hand ley line. So very close racing, looking good. Staniek and Clean in 3rd, Mendelblatt and Fati in 4th, Laubert and Rambo 5th, Szabo and Moss in 6th, Scheid and Prada up to 7th, Orgi Diaz von Schwartz in 8th, Kuznierovic and Zicki in 9th, Hestbeek and Olasen consistent 10th. They're doing very well today, and so on and so forth. Wright in 12th, doing well actually. Ed Wright.
Yeah, Ed Wright, but Laubert during all it's now 35 minutes in the 5 best. In the 5, he's consistent. Really good.
Good day for the French. So let's go back out onto the water with our on-water commentator, Louis. We were talking a lot about crew work and how hard the crews are hiking, and we showed a little clip of Bruno Prada just describing how hard and uncomfortable. How hard are these crews working out here, Louis?
Well, yeah, we've got about 12 knots of breeze. These guys are fully hiked out. I mean, you're talking about guys over 110 kilos, most of them well over 6 foot tall, and they are literally being dragged through the water. They're that low in the water. Just something to tell you about the Bart Simpson Trophy. It's about 30 centimetres high, beautifully designed, but it's a significant weight. And at the official opening of the Star Sailors League final last night, all of the crews were coming up and trying to to pick it up with one hand. And it was almost like a remembrance of Bart. And I saw a lot of the crew that are here today, are very fond of that memory. But that's the sort of thing that'll push these guys on. These guys are absolutely driven. We were talking earlier on to several of them how they keep fit, what do they do? Huge range of activities, including basketball, amongst other things. They're working hard. The crew, the actual helmsmen are not fully hyped out yet. We've only got about 12 knots of breeze, but that's due to pick up during the day, and they'll be fully hyped as well. So, as you say, we're approaching the top mark. The reason I'm sort of bouncing around is we're hurtling up there to get there, and it's looking like a significant break in the fleet. The left-hand side is definitely paved, and we'll hopefully give you some eyes and ears to the top mark as they approach it.
Well, just to let you know, it's incredibly close at the top. Rohar Ponsol, just 3 meters in it, with Standyek clean right behind Negri Lambertengi, just behind them. It's all to play for. Super close. It's going to be a very tight mark rounding this Lue, which is incredible after 3 legs already. And 37 minutes. Yeah. And good to see, Michel, that Scheid and Prada, they're climbing up. Goodness me.
5 meters after Lobert. Perhaps Jonathan have to fight really hard if he want to stay in front of Bruno and Scheid.
I think so. And a bit of ducking. Staniek and Clean on the right-hand side. Just ducking behind the Italians, I think. And Mendelblatt right behind them. So there's a good 3 bunch up there. And there's going to be a little battle with Rohard and Ponceau. See if they can squeeze round that mark. See if they get there first. It's going to be extremely close. I think Rohard and Ponceau are going to have to duck.
Mm-hmm.
So back to Loué Habib out on the water. Can you hear us, Loué?
Yeah, it's stunning. It's going on right now. There's a load of shouting going on. And Rohart did a beautiful little tack today. He was coming in on port. He tacked early, so he was under the mark, not making it, and then started to go up. The crew that he was with, I can't quite see who it was at the moment, but it looks like Rohart has asked for a protest, and they will be doing their turn. I think it's the German team of Pogar, but we'll wait and see. The Italians, Negri is in 3rd place, keeping out of trouble, and Mendenblatt is behind them. So those 4 have got away quite significantly from the rest of the pack. But the German team, who are currently leading, I think they have accepted penalty turns. We saw them put their hand up to accept that penalty turn at the top mark in an incident with Rohart and the French team. Back to you, Diggers.
Thanks very much, Lohard. Well, we could see there was going to be trouble coming. You know, you could see it a mile off. Something was going to have to happen. I personally thought that Rohard and Ponceau were going to be in trouble there, Michel.
It's very near. It's very near. I mean, but when you're on the battle, it's really difficult.
And we can see Rohard and Ponceau, in fact, have taken a penalty turn. So fair enough. You know, they came in on the port tacked early, and the Germans. The Germans doing a penalty turn as well. So great, Loué, 2 penalty turns. Don't quite know what happened there, but big dramas at the front of the fleet hasn't affected the result too much. But it gives some of the chasers more penalty turns going on just around there. Fantastic stuff.
Full button on the mark, and I can say. But the skipper said that it was a choice from the skipper to have the jury on the water and to do already the penalty.
So Loué out on the water, a lot of drama. Must be a lot of shouting going on, a lot of whistling.
Well, it was definitely an argument between the French and the German team. The way I see it is the German team were accusing the French of coming in on port. However, the French team were arguing that they were in two boat lengths of the mark, and therefore they needed room at the mark to get round it. I think they agreed to disagree, and they both did penalty turns. Let's face it, if you're coming in the top 3 of a race and you get disqualified and get an 18th place, that's not going to do too much good to your score. You may as well do your penalty turns, the pair of you, and then just get on with it. And that's how I read it.
I think that's good reading, Louis. An insurance policy, Michel. There's no point being disqualified from a race in a protest room, be shocker, when really you just want to get in the top 5. So take a hit, take one for the team.
Absolutely. But so it's new kind of format, and they must learn to take this in the hand for the races.
So hammering down the final leg to the finish. Looks like the Italians, Negri and Lambertenghi, having a stellar day out in the lead.
And just in front of Medeblatt.
35 metres in it. Anything can happen on this final race. Rohard Ponsot, who took that penalty turn, they've lost some ground on the leaders, but they're still in the hunt, and their aim is to hit that top 10 medal cut after 3 days. Staniek and Klein in 4th, Lobert, Rambo up in 5th, Bruno Prada, Robert Scheid up in 6th, Augie Diaz. Hey, we love Augie. He's up there in 7th, and he's a cunning sailor, isn't he, Michel?
What?
Augie Diaz, 59 from Miami. He's like a fox. He's the old guy, the silver-haired fox.
In March or in the first part of this year, he won the North American Championship on this place.
And Augie took a 15-year break from star sailing to look after his business and run his family and all that kind of stuff. And he's back in with John von Schwartz. Szabo and Moss in 8th. Melleby, Stroud 9. Hespeak, Olesen consistent with their 10th. JP Posmar, he's up in 11th with Natucci. And Ed Wright in 12th.
And so see the performance from Jonathan Lobert. Stay now 5 meters in front of Scheid, but we were speaking about this, 5 minutes before. He's still in front of Scheid. Really good.
Good result, good mix-up of disciplines and sailors, and mixing sailors from other fleets with experienced star crews. About halfway down the final leg towards the finish. A big spread, big separation. We've got a kilometre to go to the finish. Let's see if we can catch up with Louis Habib out on the water. Louis, I guess you're hammering down with the fleet.
Yeah, hi there. Sorry, I just got a bit distracted watching this amazing scene come to life. Again, it's very difficult to say who is actually winning this race. But the long and the short of it is the majority of the team are playing the shift rather than the current, which is probably the safer option. It's just an incredible sight out here. Again, we've got the pumping going on. It's incredibly physical. And I think that's, a very good point. The crews on these boats do an inordinate amount of work. It's a proper 50-50 relationship. And they're incredibly talented sailors in their own right. And I think one thing to point out as well is that at the Star Sailors League final, there is no limit on pumping. That's the action of moving particularly the mainsail backwards and forwards to increase the motion of the boat. And the fin sailors that are here, they are very, very used to that technique. And in some respects, that may have leveled the playing field somewhat because obviously they don't know the Star. And so not surprising to see people like Ed Wright doing well, particularly as they're allowed to pump as much as they like. And Ed Wright knows all about pumping, having come from the fin class. Back to you, Diggers.
Thank you, Louis. Good insight. Top of the fleet, we're looking at Diego Negri and Lambertenghi leading down towards the finish line, followed by Mendelblatt and Fatih, just 26 metres behind. Staniek and Klein, the Germans, behind them. Great result here for the French. Lobert and Rambo, Michel, they're doing well. Followed by Rohart and Ponsot, the other French team. So close racing at the front. Not too much distance, not too far to go to the finish. And Robert Scheid, Bruno Prada up to 6th. And considering they were down in 16th, 15th, that's a phenomenal result. Now, I ought to say to everybody that if you have any questions for us and you're on Twitter, if you go #AskDigby, that's Ask Digby, D-I-G-B-Y, that's me. You can Twitter away, ask us a few questions. We've got another race to come, 3 races tomorrow. If you've got any technical questions or any comments or any info or any feedback, we'll try and get back to you and find out and chat away.
So, we were speaking about Robert and Lobert. You see that Lobert do incredible races because he don't lose with Robert Scheid, but he wins, and he is now 3rd and Robert 4th. Incredible.
Well, it's getting exciting in that part of the fleet there. The race for 3rd, 4th and 5th. Scheid now up to 4th place. Lobert, Rambo up in 3rd, keeping Scheid behind him. He's not going to let him pass, is he? He's really pretty determined about that. And Staniek and Klein in 5th, and the other French team, Xavier Rohard and Ponceau in 6th. Hammering down towards the finish, and if these guys can pick up a good wave, you know, that's an overtaking lane.
Yeah, and really interesting to see that Postma, he's climbing a little bit, and Maloney 13. It's good with Bjorn Tyler.
So JP Postma, he's a great Finn sailor, was at the London Olympics last year. He was in a gold medal position in that final gold medal race and kind of lost out, unfortunately. But he has the biggest smile here at the sailing club, JP Postma. Hammering down to the finish, the fleet is spread. Robert Scheid mixing it up in the middle there. He's up to 4th now. Lobert, Rambo keeping him behind. And Hespeak, he's down to 11th. Ed Wright in 10th. Augie Diaz 9th. Szabo in 8th. And Mellerby and Strube 7th. And that's how we're looking for the finish at the moment. Not far to go. Let's go back out to Loué Habib on the water for this fantastic drag race to the finish. Loué.
But incredible from Negri too.
Well, you have to hand it to the Italians. They are working their socks off on the boat at the moment to hold on to this lead, to get a second bullet. And let's be honest, at the start of today, you would not have put any money on any team winning 2 races today, let alone the Italian team. Fantastic performance from them. Men in Black is looking good in 2nd place at the moment, and the American team know these waters extremely well, and we've just got a bit of action going on here with a few rings. I'm not sure what's going on, but anyway, we're just about to watch the Italian team go through the line. And there's a lot of cheering going on. There's a big, look at that. Their arms are up in the air. They are loving that. There's some fist pumping going on. The Italians are absolutely over the moon with that one. And then through the line goes Men in Black. That's a good result for them as well. And then there's a baller boat coming in, led by the Lombard, the French team. And there's a lot of shouting going on. Robert Scheid back in there. Look at that. That is incredible. After that first top mark rounding, to pull back like that. I think, to be honest with you, Ed Wright's rattled his cage. And in that last downwind leg, Ed Wright did an early jibe out, and it has not paid off. And he's back down in 10th place. He's fighting hard at the moment, though. He's having a real dig at the Norwegians. Melon Blue's holding on, but he's looking over his shoulder. But yes, Melon Blue has held on to that. Ed Wright just crosses the line through there. And yeah, fantastic. And it's a fantastic. The sun is blistered out now. It's amazing scenes out here, DP.
Thank you, Loué. What an incredible finish between Scheid and Staniek. Just 1 second. Scheid just holding on to that 4th place over the Germans, Staniek and Klein. And Rohard Ponceau just a few seconds behind. And then 1 second with Augie Diaz and John von Schwartz. So super close finishes. It's great to see such a tight fleet, Michel.
Absolutely. 12 for Maloney now, 13 for Postma. It's good result. But Negri, 2 wins today. 2 wins, 2 race to win. It's his Olympic games now.
So an Italian champagne day, 2 bullets in 2 races. We have 1 more race to go today, which will be in about 15 minutes or so. And Hornos and Revkid, they had such a great start. It's a shame they kind of lost out. They were looking pretty stellar off their start. I think they had one of the best starts in the whole fleet in race 2. They maintained that going up that first leg, but they've slipped down with the Marazzi brothers in 18th. So that's the situation in Nassau in the Bahamas. You can see we're sailing just off the eastern side of the island. And it's a beautiful spot. We've got some atolls, and we're racing in Montague Bay with Paradise Island up to the left and Atoll Island just there, and East Point just that little tip on the right hand side. So Michel, pretty exciting, a lot of drama, great result for the Brazilians. I thought that was quite stunning to climb up through the fleet. Super result for the 2 French teams, but really at the moment it is the Italians, Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi. And you know, these guys, we spoke to them yesterday on the lawn. They were kind of pretty fired up, pretty pumped. They had a lot of character, a lot of spirit, and they're certainly taking it on today.
Absolutely, but they need now to win. It's time to win for this guy. They do a lot of practice this year. They do a lot of races this year. They have the fighting spirit here in Nassau.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a deep breath, cup of tea, and we'll come back in a couple of moments with the overall results. We're just going to put our beauty shot up for the next 10 minutes, and we'll come back on about the 5. As soon as we hear the 5-minute warning, we'll come back on air and take us through the 3rd and final race of today. Welcome back to Nassau in the Bahamas for the Star Sailors League final. And we're looking at the race course. We're about 2 minutes to the start. I have Michel Niklaus sitting next to me in our little commentary studio, and Michel, spokesman for the Star Sailors League. And out on the water, we have our on-the-water commentator, Louay Habib. Louay, under 2 minutes to go, and a lot of jockeying position. We can see what's going on.
Well, to be honest with you, we're risking life and limb here at the moment. We're on course side, just the other side of the start line at the moment. Obviously, we'll be moving from here, but you really get a picture of the pre-start here. These boats are already engaged in a battle for the right place to start on this course. The left-hand side still looks good, but once again, you don't want to be all the way to the left because you'll get pinged out, as the Polish team found out in the last race, in the start of race 2. They got pinned out the pin end. There goes the warning signal, and the gloves are off. Also, this is the third and last race of the day, and definitely fatigue is starting to set in. There's a lot of guys taking on water. And, this is definitely about fitness as well, this last race. Breeze did die a little bit just before the start, but it's come back again. We're back up to about 12 knots, and we saw a lot of the crews on the boats fine-tuning their rigs, fine-tuning their mast. And after 2 races in roughly the same conditions, they've got a good idea of what's working and what isn't. So we're just about to go into the start, and it's the Maloney, the Kiwi team. He's right out on the pin end. He's now done a massive duck and a bear away down the back of the fleet. He's looking for a gap there. He's not going to find one. He's found himself in a bit of trouble there, and he's going to have to have a bad start, I reckon. The Brazilian pair, Scheidt and Prada, have nailed that on the start line, about a quarter away into the pin end. But it's Men in Black that's getting away well at the pin end with the Norwegian team and also the French team of Javier Rojas. So a very competitive start yet again, and the left is definitely favoured by nearly all of the fleet. There's about 4 boats that have gone right, and the rest of the fleet are all heading off onto the left-hand side. Back to you, Diggers.
Thank you very much, Louay. Well, Virtualize telling us that the right is looking good, but it's early days with the wind shifts and so on. But Marazzi over on the right, Maloney and Bjorn winning on the gain line. Kayard is going that way as well, with Mendelblatt and Fatih. Mendelblatt looked like he got squeezed out on the left-hand side of the line. He had to kind of tack and jibe round and then duck a whole load of other sailors. Robert Scheid looked to us like he had a super start with clean air. And if you look at Robert Scheid's position, you've got just to windward, there's no one there. He always kind of picks his spot on that start line. I noticed that on the first start. He goes down. He's not at the committee boat end or the pin end. He's here somewhere in the middle with a bit of space. So if we go over to the right-hand side, Marazzi, Italian brothers, looking good with Maloney and Bjorn, Kayard and Sperry, and Mendelblatt and Fatih just hammering along.
Marazzi, Swiss brother.
Oh, did I call him Italian? I'm sorry about that. Swiss, yeah.
We are not always in the front of the fleet with our flag. So, but we are proud of this team in Switzerland.
Well done. Thanks for pointing that out, Michel. Also from Switzerland, a bit of flag waving going on. Yeah. Why not, eh?
Yeah,
Why not? Go the Swiss.
We need this.
Our gain line is swinging around with Virtualize. It's hard to tell early on at this stage in the race. But my money would be on the guys in the middle. Perhaps they're going to pick up. And it's interesting that the regatta leaders, Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi, they've had 2 bullets. So we know who's winning this regatta at the moment. They're far out over towards the right. And these guys, let's just talk about them a little bit. And 42, Diego Negri from Genova in Italy. He represented Italy at the Sydney and Athens Olympics in the laser, and then he started sailing stars in 2005. And he was in the Beijing Olympics in 2008 in the star, came second in the Worlds in 2008, and won 2 European titles in 2011 and 13. And funny enough, when we talked to Diego Negri, he told us that his 2 daughters, Ilario and Virginia, would be watching this back home, 7 and 3 years old, and he asked us to say hello. So ciao, Ilario, Virginia. Why not, huh? So he's sailing with Sergio Lambertenghi, also from Lake, he's from Lake Garda, excuse me, and won the Star Europeans in Monte Carlo. So these guys together for a year, they've had a stellar day, 2 bullets, they're lying 6th overall at the moment, and heading upwind, and at the moment Szabo and Moss leading over the Frenchmen, who are having a consistent day, Michel, in second.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just some detail for the spectator now. You can see in the middle of the sail number, and for example here you can see in front of us the first boat is Xavier and Ponceau. They have number 1. It means that they are now number 1 in the SSL ranking. Number 1 for the skipper.
Okay, number 1 for the skipper. So now we have an overall ranking scoreboard. Let's fly it up over our beauty shot. After 2 races in the Star Sailors League Grand Finale here in Nassau, it is the Italians, Negri and Lambertenghi, with 2 points. Robert Scheid, Bruno Prada lying second overall. The Americans, Mendelblatt and Farty, 8 points. Melleby and Strube in 4th. Rohard, Ponceau in 5th. Hestbeek and Olesen, superb result for them in 6th. Ed Wright and Pedersen. Now that is a turn up for the books. Finn sailor, Ed Wright, sailing with a very experienced star sailor. And then 8th, Laubert and Rambo, another, Finn sailor coming into this class and getting into that top 10. And then Paul Kayard, the legend, sailing with Austin Sperry, and PJ Postma sailing with Natucci, Eduardo Natucci in 10th. So that's the overall standings. As we see, we'll go back to the racing, see how things are getting on. Out on the race course, we have Louay Habib, our commentator. Louay, how's it looking?
We had a good split in the fleet, but now most of the fleet are heading over to the left-hand side. They seem to think that that is going to pay. Very difficult to say from here who's doing well, but I would say the boats to the middle of the fleet look like they're in good pressure, clear air. The boats to the left-hand side, they're looking a little bit more, shall we say, in danger of falling behind. So interesting that the Italian pair that have won the last 2 races changed their tactics and went to the right for the start. And it looked like it did play at the start. So, fantastic work there. And to be honest with you, a bit of a high gamble to change the winning tactics in the last 2 races. The pressure seems to have dropped just a little bit. However, the sea stakes now, we're not talking about huge waves, but it's definitely quite choppy. It's a lumpy sea stake, so to keep the boat driving through those conditions, not only is the crew fully hiked out, but we can also see the helmsmen are now fully hiked out as well. And after several hours of racing, that's got to play on the legs, the back, the stomach. These guys have got to be incredibly fit to take part in this competition. Back to you, Diggers, about halfway up the beat at the moment.
Thanks very much, Lou. I can hear you hammering up on your spectator boat there. Great battle between Szabo and Kayard, the 2 American boats. They're playing the middle of the course very sensibly. We have our lead line is showing Scheid and Prada, the Brazilians, up into second. Rohard and Ponceau, another consistent result for these guys, and Maloney and Bjorn up into 4th. Now, Michel, come on, Maloney and Bjorn. I mean, to tell us a little bit about Maloney.
It's incredible. He was third in Laser World Championship. Clearly, he is with Bjorn Tyler was in the Olympic Games with Richard Clark from Canada. And but Bjorn needs now to share his competence, his skill with young guys. And I mean, it's a perfect Commonwealth team. And I'm very happy to see they are now in the third place. Nice. Just to speak some words about the race committee. Incredible. We are speaking about races not so far away, 50 minutes, and they are doing something for 50 minutes. They have the same level, I mean, the racer here, and we have to thank all the race committee, I mean.
Well, the principal race officer, Sharon Burke, and the chairman of the regatta, Paul Hutton Ash Kenny. I'll be very happy to hear that. Thank you, Michelle. So now up at the top, Bruno Scheid and Prada, doing extremely well, and then George Szabo and Moss. Now we spoke to George Szabo, got a little chat. I wonder if we could play that one, Chris. So, George Szabo, 43, San Diego. You've won something like 19 national championships in the US. You're the Star World Champion from 2009, which was in Varberg, Sweden. Now, somebody tells me that you actually started when you were 3 weeks old sailing the Star. Tell us about that, George.
Star sailing's been our family for a long time. My dad sailed stars for the years, and I was born on the East Coast, but he moved our family to San Diego when I was 1 year old so that he could sail stars all year long. And we sailed just recreationally on Wednesday night beer cans and whatnot on the Star. I was growing up when you're 5 years old and 8 years old, and started driving when I was 16. And our yacht club has an immense history of starboat sailing. We have 16 wins of world championships for 11 skippers at our club, and so just the Star's been always such a depth of history at our club for the Star class that it was a natural thing to keep going and sail.
There is something quite magic about the Star class. Its history, it's over 100 years old. It's been an Olympic class since 36 or so. There's something magical, and of course it's an American design. Why do you think the Americans are so keen on it?
I don't think it's just Americans are keen on it. The whole world's keen on it. It's just an overpowered boat that's a lot of fun to sail. It's tunable, so you can get the power out when you need to and put the power back when you want to. And it's just got such a great power to weight ratio with the big cruise, and it's tough to sail, and it's just a fantastic boat when you get on it. It's more of a Ferrari than than anything else.
You're sailing with Craig Moss, also from San Diego, a kind of old buddy, childhood friend who used to compete against in lasers, and you guys have been campaigning for about 2 years, I understand. What's the kind of atmosphere between you guys, two buddies out there? What is your ethos and philosophy?
Craig's always having a lot of fun on board, cracking jokes, and just different conversation every day about life and everything going on. So it's always entertaining to get on the boat with Craig and see what you're going to talk about that day. And racing's also one of the important things you're doing out there, but just having fun every day is so important to keeping it fresh every day so you can sail faster.
And finally, what are you aiming for at this regatta? What would be, when you leave this regatta, I know you want to win, everybody wants to win, but realistically, do you have goals, targets?
I think we got a good shot at being top 5. It's going to be a fun regatta because you've got some of the absolute best sailors in the world here, and some of these guys, they're not used to the Star boat, but every day they're getting faster and faster in the Star, and you have other guys that have been fast in the Star that don't have their standard boat here, and they're getting back in, so it's going to be a pretty interesting event, but I think we have a good shot at being up there.
Well, he's doing pretty well at the moment. George Szabo and Craig Moss up in third position. They had a great start and they're battling away. These guys, long-time Star sailors, and they're taking on Scheid and Prado, Mendelblatt and Fatih, their countrymen, with the two Swiss, sorry to call them Italian earlier, but the Marazzi brothers, and Rohard and Ponceau, the French, in fourth place at the moment. And as they head up towards the top mark, we've had a little swap out in our commentary booth. Michel's moved out, and we've swapped in with Yannick Gillin from Virtual Regatta. Hi Yannick, nice to have you with us. We'll talk a bit more about Virtual Regatta as we get round the mark, but you know, Tell us how many people are playing. Where can you play virtual regatta?
Well, hi everybody. Actually, everybody can play on virtualregatta.com. You just need to register and you'll create your own boat. And if you are actually seeing here what's happening on the water, basically it will happen exactly the same thing on virtual regatta, but you will steer your own boat there against other players. Then it's very live. It's usually the regatta lasts in between 10 or 12 minutes. And at the end of the regatta, you receive or lose points. And there is a ranking after a week. And actually, the final is going on. And on Sunday, we'll close it. And then we'll win $1,000 US.
Well, good stuff. So that is virtualregatta.com. Google it, get in there, sign up, play. $1,000 at stake sounds great. So now we're heading towards the ley line and the top mark, and it's all go. It's going to be crunchy. A lot of boats going to pile into this mark at the same time. We can see Mendelblatt and Fatih. They're getting onto the ley line. They're looking good for that top mark. Stanjek and Klein, the Germans, they look below the ley line. Are they going to have to do another tack? Scheid and Prada bang on the ley line as we see it from Virtual Eye. So big crowd piling in towards the top mark. Let's see if we can catch up with Louis Habib. Louis, what can you see?
Well, we are directly between, the top mark is directly between us and the fleet coming at us. It's a hell of a sight. And you're dead right, the German team were looking good, but they've had to tack back into the pack, and it's definitely looking like Mendenblatt and Brian Fatih taking the top spot there. In fact, no, I'm going to change that. It's Robert Stanjek and Fritjof Klein that get round the top mark. And fitness tells, and Fritjof Klein, he loves to play basketball when he's not in the gymnasium, and look at him pumping away. I tell you what, this is all going on here. Just behind them is Mark Mendenblatt and Brian Fatih. They are also working it, but it's the German pair that have got away. They're like 2 boat lengths away. Robert Scheid and Bruno Prada in 3rd place, with the Polish team just behind them in 4th. And it's an absolute bundle at the top mark. Maloney's got in all sorts of trouble. He's in anchors there. He's no way around that. He got pinned out at the start. He then had a cracking first beat, and he's now got pinned out at the top mark. There is no quarter being given here. Plenty of shouting going on. I'm sure it'll be good-natured, and they'll have a fizzy drink afterwards. But right now, it's full on. Back to you, Diggers.
Thanks, Louis. Well, we saw Paul Kayard get absolutely stuffed coming into that top mark. He couldn't make it, couldn't squeeze in. He had to do a tack and a jibe and then circle around a whole bunch of boats. So Kayard and Sperry lost a whole bunch of places on that top mark. So as we look down, Wright and Pedersen, they're in the mix there. 12th overall, 12th in this race, excuse me. Hornos and Revkin, the other rookies, just ahead of them. Right up the front, Scheid and Prada in 3rd place. Super consistent sailing by the Brazilians. Mendelblatt and Fatih and Stanjek and Klein out in front, doing about 6 knots, up to 7 knots on a wave. And these guys didn't look like they were going to make that top mark, but they kind of tacked early, squeezed up, got round ahead, and just stayed in front of the Americans, Mendelblatt and Fatih. Good to see the Polish team, Kuznierovic and Zicki in 4th place. And then the overall leaders, Diego Negri and Sergio Lambertenghi in 5th. So they're having stellar result. This is a champagne day for Italy as we hammer downwind. They've done a little spacer mark, and I believe it's still an upwind-downwind course as they head down on leg number 2. Let's rejoin our guest commentator, Yannick Gillin, so from virtualregatta.com. Now, Yannick, you're not actually from the company. You're one of the fans. You're just enthusiast. And just, did I get that right? If you're playing online, you're actually using the live data.
Exactly. In fact, a virtual regatta is created as a virtual starboard with all the polarities. Then I'm learning to steer that boat because it is new to me. I never steered a starboard for real, but it's very close to what I can see here. And I'm just one of the players. I've been playing to virtual regatta inshore for 2 years now, and I had some successes. And I'm here now try to show everybody that you can participate to this kind of race also on the computer.
Why not? It's all virtual. Talking about virtual worlds, if you are on Twitter, you can go #AskDigby. #AskDigby. If you've got any questions or feedback, we can chatter away. Remember, we've got 3 more days of racing in this format, so tune in online tomorrow, chatter away. And if you're watching this at work, make sure you've got that spreadsheet handy, you know, for the quick escape. Click over to the spreadsheet. We love all that. But here we are in Nassau in the Bahamas, hammering downwind. The German team, Staniek and Klein, leading Mendelblatt and Fatih by 10 meters. Scheid and Prada in 3rd place, and Kuznirevich and Zicki 50 meters behind the leaders. Diego Negri, Sergio Lambertenghi 70 meters behind the leaders. So there's a bit of a spread out from the fleet. Some of the guys, the Marazzi brothers, heading out far left, and big fight at the front. Look at Mendelblatt and Fatih. They right on the heels of Staniek and Klein, and super close Mark Rounding, hammering downwind, only 8 meters in that gain line. And we spoke to Brian Fatih just before the regatta, had a little chat, little sit-down chat about him and his athletic ability and getting into the star. And we'll leave the virtual eye running and have a little chat with Brian.
The process, it's a lot of time, and it's a lot of dedication. You know, Mark and I spend a lot of time on the water. Even if it was for an hour and a half or 2 hours, but we went out almost every day, you know, a lot prior to our trials and leading up to the games. We had a lot of help from our sailmaker, Judd Smith from Doyle Sails. He helped, you know, generate new designs and helped with tuning, and he was our tuning partner for a good bit of it. And it was really, you know, we owe a lot to him. And if we didn't have a tuning partner for a particular day, we just went out and did boat handling, nailed the boat handling drills over and over again. You're not home very much. If you are home, you know, you have to sail, you have to train, and you know, you have to put off other things in your life, of course, you know, little pressure on family and friends because you're gone a lot. You have to do the circuit, you know, you have to go to Europe or wherever the regattas are, and make sure you're there in the hunt, working hard. One of the rewards was going to the games. One of our trials, we had some good Americans we were up against, and we were able to make that happen, and that's the reward. You know. So how's this transfer to other things, maybe? Well, if you are determined, you put a lot of dedication into something, you're most likely going to succeed. That's probably the main bit. I don't know if it's a secret. You know, most of the guys are going to tell you the same thing. It's just a lot of time, a lot of work, and also trying to be smart about it. You know, trying to go out there with the best sails, best equipment, and always constantly thinking about how to improve every part of the boat and every part of your boat handling, and it's a never-ending process. It's a circle that goes around, and you just keep working on it. It's one of the best places to sail in the world. It's not many better places than this. The water's warm, there's good breeze, there's a nice swell. It's every time I come here, I've been here maybe for a major star event, maybe 4 times, and it's been fantastic every time. So really looking forward to this week.
That's the place to be.
This is the place to be, for sure.
Well, good insight from Brian Farty there. He's been sailing with Mark Mendelblatt for about 4 years. They won the Bacardi Cup this year. They got the bronze at the Star Worlds last year, and they were 7th at the London Olympics, sailing with Mark Mendelblatt. Now they're having a humdinging battle up front here. Mendelblatt, Staniek and Clean, and Scheid and Prada hammering away at the front of the pack. Let's get out to Louis Habib. There's been overtakes hammering along. These guys are neck and neck. There's only 10 meters between Scheid and Staniek and Clean, with Mendelblatt and Farty neck and neck going into that bottom gate, Louis.
Well, I've got to say, just watching Bruno Prada pumping the front of this Robert Scheid behind, totally in unison. And a little bit of an insight here. We saw Robert Scheid change his shirt earlier on, and he's carrying some blue tape to his left shoulder. He's obviously got some sort of injury there. And the inside knowledge we're getting here is that pumping down these waves, he's fine on port, but when he's pumping on starboard, he's using that injured shoulder. And Robert Scheid is putting himself through the pain barrier here and pulling out a massive lead. Every single wave, they are just surfing away from Mendelblatt and Fatty. And they put a significant amount in, maybe 4 or 5 boat lengths behind them. The German pair, Robert Staniek and Fritjof Clean, they've had a good downwind leg, but they've lost that lead. The Polish team is also giving them some real competition. That's Kuzniewicz and Jetski. But the Brazilians get round the top mark first. It is 2 or 3 boat lengths before Mendelblatt and Fatty make it, and it's really close between the German Staniek and Clean and Kuzniewicz and Jetski. So it's interesting to see. We've got some very top-class star sailors winning this race. The Italian team, they're not far out of it, but it looks like we're going to get a different winner to the last race today, Digby.
Well, Louis, on Virtual Eye, we're seeing Negri and Lambertenghi rounding that bottom gate at the same time as Rohart and Ponceau. Both teams doing extremely well today, extremely consistent results. Negri and Lambertenghi, I would guess, are still the overall leaders, but it's not going to be far out with Scheid and Prada leading this particular race. Fantastic sailing from Mendelblatt and Farty. These guys working hard with Staniek and Clean in third. And what we can see in Virtual Eye is Kuzniewicz and Sicki in fourth place. Louis, I totally love the way you're mangling some pronunciations even worse than I am, so good man. And Negri and Lambertenghi in fifth place. So close racing, it's all to play for, as we say, heading upwind. They've got 2 more legs to go, up to the top, down to the bottom and finish. And we can see the clock is running from the first boat, rounding that mark to the last. Kayard not having such a good race in this one. Polgar and Cloy rounding, Polgar and Coy, the Marazzi brothers, and Postma and Natucci looks like they're in last place. So 200 meters from top to bottom, and Scheid and Prada heading up the left-hand side of this course. Obviously, seeing a bit more wind perhaps on the left, Louis. It's hard to tell with Virtual Eye, but what are your gurus on board the spectator boat saying? You've got Robert Scheid's coach there, and Prada, who's not coaching here. We have to emphasize that. He's just here helping out. But that guy's been a legend in the sport for many years. He can read wind. He can see the wind. What is he telling us about wind, and what can you tell us about that?
Well, yeah, Digby, you've given the game away. I'm just a megaphone for this man. Luca Medina. Medina's a kind of vinegar, and this guy should really be mustard. I mean, he's reading this race course incredibly well. But you're absolutely right. There's absolutely no communication between him and Robert Scheid and Bruno Prada. He's actually driving the boat here, and he's giving out water to all of the crews. And I saw him cheering on the Italians. He's obviously had a couple of grapples with them, I would say, in the past. I tell you, one guy I'd like to really mention on that last downwind leg one team was Peter Jan Posma and Eduardo Nattucci. They picked up a penalty at the top mark, and you know, and a lot of people shipped to the sun because they went from front to back. They've worked their way up to literally halfway up the fleet, and you know, I have to really put my hat off to them. A fantastic comeback. It doesn't show on your virtual eye, because they're only middle of the pack, but they should really be down the pan, and they're not. There's a fantastic comeback there from PJ and Eduardo. Back to you, Diggers.
Great stuff, Louis. Thank you very much indeed. So, Scheid and Prada pulling out a 60-metre lead over Mendelblatt and Fatih. So as the guys climb upwind, they're spreading out. Looks like the Brazilians are playing the middle. And good knowledge from Luca, your driver. Appreciating that very much, Louis. Say thanks very much to Luca. And boats spreading out. Now, in the middle of the pack, it's all about getting into the top 10. Consistency is what it's going to pay, and there's a lot of prize money at stake. $200,000 prize purse, $40,000 for the winner of this regatta. That's going to be on Saturday. And just to remind people of the format, we have 3 races over 3 days. 3 races a day, 9 races, and then there's a cut-off. The top 10 will go into a quarter-final on Saturday, and in that next race, 3 will be culled from that. So the penultimate race will have 7 boats, 3 will be culled from that, and then the top 4 go into a kind of grand final. It's a little bit like the medal race in Olympic sailing, but it's a bit more kind of cutthroat. It's a bit sharper, and there's no dispute over the points. Whoever wins that final race between the 4 boats wins the big paycheck of $40,000 US, and that is extremely unusual in sailing. It's a cool thing. I think the ripples will be felt around the sailing world. People will be talking about this, and this is just the first grand finale of the Star Sailors League. Michel, one of the founders, the spokesman for the Star Sailors League, was telling us earlier that about 1,000 skippers, 1,400 crew, you know, over 2,000 sailors have signed up, and it's all going well. So now, in our hashtag Ask Digby, very exciting, we've had a question from Sophie Luther. Sophie Luther, what is the forecast for today? Well, I'm telling you, Sophie, I'm stuck in a room. It's very hard. The blinds are down. I can't really see much. But it's absolutely super and beautiful out here in the Bahamas in December. Anyone in Northern Europe or Northern America, I'm really quite sorry about that. I'm sure it's absolutely freezing. But the wind is about 15 knots, good sunshine, champagne sailing, and it's perfect sailing conditions for the Star Sailors League. Now, earlier in the day, we caught up with Michael Hesbeck from Denmark. He's 44 from Copenhagen. He's ranked 8th in the Star Sailors League. He has 25 medals at European level championship. He claimed bronze at the Star Worlds in 2012 in Hyères, 4 Olympic Games, 2nd in the 49er class. 2 in the 49er class, sorry, and he came 11th in the Star last year at the Olympics in 2012 in Weymouth off the south coast of Britain. Let's hear from Michael Hesbeck while we still watch Virtual Eye. So Michael Hesbeck from Denmark, 44, Copenhagen. You've won something like 25 medals, championship medals at mostly kind of European level. You represented Denmark at the London Games, came 11th last year, and you're here in Bahamas with your crew, Klaus Olesen. Michael, what do you think of this regatta?
I think it's a new, good vision that Michel has. He want to try and do something in the star class which is hasn't been seen before. It's been done in other classes. The thing about bringing prize money in is something we all dream of, but it rarely ever happens. I've done 49er regattas in the past where there's been some kind of prize money, close racing, media coverage. It's been seen, but it's something we haven't had in the star class. So I'm looking forward to see how it all develops.
With that experience, does it make a difference having a prize structure, an actual financial incentive here?
I think that it has a difference in terms of the level of sailors that would show up. It sort of pushes it towards one direction. For sure it does. I mean, if we do well here, we get our expenses covered and maybe a bit on top of that. Normally you got to have funding from federation or sponsors to support your racing, but having prize money could sort of even that up.
And like any regatta, any Olympic class regatta, you know, you guys are very realistic. You set your goals and you have various different targets. I wonder if you could tell us what you and Klaus, what are your targets here?
Klaus and I has had a short and sharp campaign in only 10 months leading up to the Olympics, and there we had a steep improving curve, and we ended up shortly before the Olympics being third of the world. So our expectations would definitely be to hit the top 10, and that would be realistic for us. We do also dream about being between the last 4 and have a shot at fighting it out there. When you got one race deciding everything, you can only guess and you can only go out and do your best. But yeah, you know, we're gonna fight and see if we can hit the last 4.
Your experience, you've obviously done 2 Olympics in 49ers, which is a kind of very sporty class, and the star class. What can you tell us about the star class? You know, in windy conditions, what's unusual about them?
I've sailed all kind of different boats, from Optimist, done a lot of laser sailing in the past, and big boats up to 100-foot big boats. But one thing that always brings your attention is when you go out in the star and it's plus 20 knots, there's always this in the back of your head that you got to look out for the mast. And today actually we were sailing in this 18-20 knots, like 10 boats out practicing, and we hesitated a second too long in a jibe, so it's sort of the jibe came around, a little bit too much pressure in it, and we were so close to losing the mast. It's something you don't do in other classes. Either you broach, you capsize or whatever, but the mast usually stays upright. In the stars there's always this joker that if you flick it too long, he'll hit you hard.
Okay, so there's jeopardy involved here, some mast breakages potentially during this regatta, which could be bad but great too from a media point of view. Just final question, you know, you're a sort of dedicated Olympic class athlete, and we're here in the glamour of the Bahamas and everything. Just give us an insight into, you know, how much goes into being a top level athlete on the Star, the 49er, and the Finn, any of these. You know, how much does it take of your life?
I think it's a lifestyle. You gotta, you know, always have sailing as a first priority. All of us that are here has had that since we were 10, 5, 15 years old maximum. You gotta do it from very young, and for sure there are some things you gotta turn down, and you gotta always, you're not always focused, but it's always in the back of your mind that sailing is your first priority, and that is what you live for. If you're an athlete, doesn't matter what sport you do.
Well, fantastic insight from Michael Hesbeck into the life of an athlete. And at the moment, these guys from Denmark, they're lying 9th in race 3 of the Star Sailors League. Well, let's just catch up with the overall standings in this race. Scheid and Prada still at the front of the pack, leading Staniek and Klein from Germany, Mendel Black and Farty from the USA in 3rd, Kuznirovic and Zicki in 4th, Rohard and Ponceau from France in 5th, the Italians Negri and Lambertenghi in 6th place, and Augie Diaz, John von Schwartz, they're having a pretty good day. This is all they need to do, stay in the top 10, all 3 races, job done for the cut-off on Friday and Saturday. And then Hornos and Revkin, the 2 rookies, the youngsters, 25, 23 years old. They're having a good race here. Hesbeek and Olesen in 9th, and the Marazzi brothers in 10th. Lobert Rambeau 11th. Melabili and Strube 12th. Ed Wright and Pedersen 13th. Zabo and Moss 14th. Kayard and Sperry not having a great race for this one. They got stuffed at the top mark in the first mark rounding. Maloney and Bjorn, Maloney the youngster from New Zealand in 16th, Polgar Coy 17, and JP Postma with Eduardo Natucci in 18th. So Scheid and Prada above the ley line, as we can see, followed by Staniek. There's about 56 meters in it. Let's go out on the water to our on-water commentator, Louis Habib. Boats spread out a bit more now, Louis. Scheid and Prada working extremely hard round that top mark.
Well, there's been some changes in the conditions out here. That bank of cloud that was out to the right has moved in, and the wind speed has increased to about 15 knots, and it's kicked up more sea state. We've got some proper waves here now, and there could be a final twist to this race. Forgive me for saying that, but conditions are getting quite tricky, to say the least, for these boats. They've got very tender rigs. I don't want to tempt fate there, but yeah, I mean, Scheid and Prada are absolutely owning this one. They're just about to round the spreader mark and go downwind, and the technique that they were producing in the last downwind leg was quite sensational. And there goes the rig going forward, the head sail being let out there, giving it more body, more girth, still pulling on that main though to give that the power, and it's the balance between the two sails. And it's poetry in motion just watching these guys extending on the fleet. Behind them is Staniek and Kleen. Now, these two had a massive battle at the Star Worlds in 2011. Robert Scheid and Bruno Prada won that, and Staniek and Kleen were just behind them. So these guys go back. They've put the gloves on lots of times. And Men in Black and Fatty are in a very good position in third. And those look like the top three. The Polish team as well, and they've held on to fourth, but they're under tremendous pressure from Rohart. And the Italians, they're right still back in it. I don't think they can win this one, but they're going to win the battle, not the war, in terms of today. They're currently in sixth position, which will give them a net score of 8 for the day, which is a tremendous effort. A little bit of a gap then to the group of boats, but seeing these boats power off downwind, we've got some decent waves, 15 knots of breeze. It's going to be a sparkling end to a sparkling day, Digby.
Thanks, Louis. Thank you, Louis. The final boats just coming round the top mark, and half the fleet on that little spreader leg. Ed Wright battling away with Maloney and Bjorn. KR just ahead of there behind Zabo and Moss. And let's work our way up through the fleet. Melleby and Struve, the Marazzi brothers from Switzerland. Lobert, Rambo, good consistent racing from these guys today. Hesbeek and Olassen, then Hornos and Revkin, Diaz, von Schwartz, Rohard, Negri, and then Kuznierovic and Zicki. Moving up to the top three, Mendel Black, Varty, and then Staniek, Kleen, and Scheid and Prada. So, interesting racing. Looks like a bit more distance spreading out between the boats. 90 meters, 94 meters between Scheid and Prada and Staniek and Kleen. So the Brazilians pulling out a healthy lead on this downwind leg, fighting hard. You'd have to kind of say that Robert Scheid, coming from the Laser Worlds, you know, it's a different class, different boat. But he's been training hard for those Laser Worlds. He wants to get back to an Olympic class. The Star has been dropped, unfortunately, by the International Sailing Federation. They've gone into catamarans instead. But they're a quixotic bunch, and I'm sure they'll change their mind. The Stars lost out to the Olympics before and muscled their way back in. And you know, there's an incredible history in this Star class. The boat designed in 1911, so it's over 100 years old, hasn't really changed much, and the sailors seem to have a great passion for it, and they speak very warmly of the class, and it's an interesting boat. And interesting, it doesn't have a spinnaker. It just has a huge boom, a huge mainsail, and the crew stands on the foredeck. There's a little kind of jockey pole just to push out the jib, and they tend to fly it goose-winged, neck and neck, downwind with no spinnaker. And the crew stands up. They move the whole rig forward to power the boat a little bit better, and they fly them downwind at great speed. Scheid and Prada, he's just pulled out 20 meters in the last couple of minutes, so they're absolutely flying. They're on form. They're hammering downwind here. Staniek and Clean now over 100 meters behind. Mendel Black and Farty in third, and here we go downwind. So, Louis, it's been a good day. Good racing, great start to the Star Sailors League. Just to remind people that we have 3 races a day, today, tomorrow and the day after, and then we hit that top 10 cut to the quarterfinals, semis and finals. So Louis, you were talking about mast breakages earlier, and we did a little interview with Michael Hesbeck, who was saying that, you know, when the wind hits about 20 knots, you know, you're in it's touch and go with these masts. They're very thin. There's a very small section. They're aluminium and they're very bendy. And the reason for that is that they're such huge mainsails. They like to spill power. They actually kind of need to depower in the big wind. And Louis, out there on the water, are we on the limit here?
No, Digby, we're not on the limit. As you say, we know we're near 20 knots. But, yeah, they are fragile pieces of kit, these rigs, you know, if you have a proper look at one. And, you know, the way that they change the tension on the rig during the race, you know, they're playing with the shrouds, etc. Yeah, you know, they're trying to get as much out of that rig as they can. But, no, we're not on the edge at all at 15 knots. But, yeah, you know, we could definitely see 20 knots here, and that would be spectacular. But I'll tell you what, just watching Robert Scheid and Bruno Prada come in here, it just takes your breath away. We've got this fantastic spot. We've got Carlo Borleghi in the room taking the pictures, and we're right in front of the fleet now. We can see them at the front and all the boats behind to end the day here. And, you know, I'm going to say the biggest surprise has got to be Negri and Lambertenghi taking those 2 bullets. But psychologically, Robert Scheid, Bruno Prada winning this last race by a country mile has got to be an advantage going into tomorrow, and I'm sure they'll try and take off where they left today. But a fantastic spectacle on the water, and you know, there's just so much more to come. You know, we've just lit the blue touch paper, Digby. I think we're going to be seeing some fireworks over the course of this final.
Nicely said, Louis. Scheid and Prada running away with this, and I agree with you. I think that's a psychological advantage for the final race overnight. You know, the crews are going to be thinking about their performances today, reviewing what they did well and what they didn't do so well in their minds, and it'll be playing on them. And Scheid and Prada can stand tall. It'll be a great boost of confidence, particularly for Robert Scheid, having been away from the star class for so long, to concentrate on his laser Olympic aspirations. Big battle back in the fleet as we go back through Mendel Black and Farty in third positions. Kuznierovic and Zicki, I think they're going to be absolutely delighted with that position in this race in fourth. And then back with Negri and Lambertenghi in fifth place. These guys have been the stars of the day, I think. I'm sure they'll take the overall lead on the overall leaderboard tonight. Hornos and Revkin, those 2 youngsters from America, just graduated from universities. They're going to take a lot of comfort from this result in race 3, 9th position at the moment. They had a super start in the second race and then lost it on the upwind leg. So there's potential there. These guys have got it in them. Hesbeek and Olason in 10th, doing well, with Melleby and Strube 11th, Maloney and Bjorn up in 12th place. not such a great race for Paul Kayard and Austin Sperry down in 15th, but Kayard is again, he's been away from the star class for a few years. He's been running the Artemis America's Cup campaign, and you know, he's just kind of stepping back into the star and tuning back in with Austin Sperry. Ed Wright and Pedersen, you know, they're going to take comfort. They had a great result in that last race, and so they know they can do it. And these two, Postma and Wright, two great Finn sailors, been invited over on wildcards to have a crack at some of the legends in the sport. Talking of legends in the sport, Robert Scheid, Bruno Prada, here they come down towards the finish. Let's go out to Louet. 110 metres, Louet, lead for Robert Scheid and Bruno Prada.
Yeah, the incredible thing is, Digby, they're still pumping going through the line. You know, these guys do not know how to take the brakes off. You know, as far as there's a huge round of applause going up for these guys. And quite frankly, there is no handbrake on awesome, and that was an awesome performance from the Brazilians. And yeah, psychologically, you know, they're pulling on the boat now. They're not singing and dancing. They're not punching the air or anything. But my God, do they stamp their authority on that last race. The German team just coming through now, Staniek, and you know, another good day for them. And they've definitely you know, risen to the challenge. And Men in Black. A lot of people fancied him today. The boat he has is pretty much set up for the medium conditions, and they know the board as well. And they've had a great day again today. But tomorrow's another day, and after seeing the Italians score 2 bullets today, Digby, anything can happen.
Thanks, Louet. On Virtual Eye, we're seeing the majority of boats come piling across the line now. After Mendel Black and Farty, Kuzniewicz and Zicki from Poland, they'll be happy there with a 4th place. And a little bunch up with Negri and Lambertenghi. Let's see if they can actually climb a place. They were 5th. They've got Kuzniewicz over the line already. Sorry, Rohard and Ponsor. Looks like they're going to take 4th. Pretty close finish there. Negri, Lambertenghi 5th. Diaz, von Schwartz crossing in 7th. Another bunch up coming in. Lobert, Rambo leading a little group. Got some Danish, Swiss. Looks like the Marazzi brothers right behind them. Melleby and Strube crossing. Lobert, Rambert. That was super close. Wow, look. 153, 153, 154, like seconds. 2 seconds within 4 boats. Pretty good. The Marazzi brothers crossing now. 13th in this race. Wright and Pedersen. 15th, Kayard just pipped them over the line. Nice going. Szabo and Moss not going to be too pleased with that result. 16th for the Americans. The Germans, Polgar, Kay, with JP Postma and Eduardo Natucci bringing up the final place in 18th. Wow, deep breath. So that is the first 3 races of the first ever Star Sailors League final. And pretty exciting stuff, close racing, battling. We've got legends, we've got wild cards, we've got rookies, we've got something like 3/4 of the Olympic star top 10 here in Nassau in the Bahamas. Sitting in the studio with Yannick Gilling from Virtual Regatta. Yannick, you're an enthusiastic amateur sailor with a passion for the sport. How cool is this?
This is absolutely amazing because it's thrilling to see this guy fighting on the water. Thank God there are not too many sharks around, because we've got the feeling there's bloody. They're really fighting hard. And as much as they were friendly here in the yacht club, we can see that on the water there is absolutely no gift for each other. They just fight to win.
Well, good observation. It is true, actually. You know, I've noticed, having filmed Olympic class regattas for many years, you see people like Robert Scheid. They're all smiles, great chats. You know, they're nice guys. You get them out onto the water, and they're like weapons. You know, they're sharp blades. They're focused, and they'll take no prisoners. And that's what it takes to win. You know, that's just being an athlete and a sportsman at this top level. So here's the regatta format. Wednesday today, we've just done 3 races. Thursday tomorrow, another 3 races, and then Friday 3 more races. So that's 9 races in total, where all 18 crews will compete. And then it gets pretty ruthless in this format, because only the top 10 will go through to the final day on Saturday. And in that 3-race day, after the first race, 3 get culled, 3 more get culled, and then for the actual final, there'll be 4 boats on that start line. And so a little bit of match racing could come into play there. That'll be quite interesting. There'll be quite a different game plan, different psychology, and these guys on that day will be playing for some quite big money. $40,000 US for first prize, 30 for second, 25 for third. You know, there's quite a lot at stake financially. So interesting first day for the Star Sailors League Grand Final. The warning signal is due at 11 a.m. tomorrow, same time. The forecast, we believe, is 13 to 15 knots. In fact, the forecast for the whole regatta is looking absolutely tasty. Now, if you go to www.starsailors.com, that is where you are going to find the overall standings after 3 races. So go to the website. You're probably looking at this on the website already. If you're looking at it through the YouTube channel, go to www.starsailors.com, and you'll see the overall standings in about half an hour. And of course, just to say goodbye to Loué Habib out on the water, and Yannick Gillin here, Chris, our vision mixer, Bridie and John Rendell from Virtual Eye. Thank you very much, guys, and thank you for the race committee for Super Race, and earlier Michel Niklaus for his great input into the commentary. That's it from us in the Bahamas. Time to get out into the sunshine and catch up on some rays. See you all tomorrow.